Great stuff. Thanks so much, guys. We're looking at a bit of a mixed session as we head into the close for a Wednesday afternoon. 2 hours to go until the close. Here we go. Look at how things are shaping up so far. Negative for the S&P, 0.09%, about half now for the Dow. Again, a lot of that being made up by that Visa move today. MasterCard as well helping to the downside. So we'll have a look at some of the payment processors in negative territory. You can see the NASDAQ holding on to a slight gain there, 0.3%. Overall for the NASDAQ, still in positive territory. 2.6 here in Toronto to the downside for the TSX. Everything else uneventful outside of crude oil. Energy markets moving once again, 3.6% to the downside. So a lot of the oil stocks under pressure heading into the final 2 hours, as we said. There it is. There's Visa right there. It's tough to see, but 6.25% right now for Visa to the downside. It was the Amazon story. If you missed it, remember Amazon no longer accepting Visa payments in the UK. That has that to the downside. FIS. There's PayPal as well, 5% on a downgrade today. MasterCard there, GPN, FISV as well. Some of the retailers in focus today, we'll talk about TJX. Coming off earnings, the only one, you can see the bright blue square there, 7.8% to the upside. We have Target, 4.5% negative on the day. Gap here, DG, eBay, Ulta Beauty, and more moving around. Some of the travel names in negative territory. Some of the casinos here, LVS, Wynn, Caesars, Penn National, 3.3% to the downside. I want to point out Moderna here because it's 5% on the session so far for Moderna. Pfizer right beside it. Eli Lilly down there as well. News around the treatment, COVID-19 treatment, going to be priced a little bit lower than they thought initially for Pfizer. There's energy, as I was saying. Yeah, oil 3% plus downside. Apache, VLO, PSX, BKR, Halliburton about 3% across the board to the downside. We'll quickly flip over here to the NASDAQ. If it actually wants to load, it might not. You saw the tech stocks. You know what they're doing. It is going to be an interesting afternoon here. It's worth noting DGLY just popping up on a little bit of volume to the upside. So we'll have a look at that digital ally making moves this afternoon. These EV stocks continue to make dreams come true, or to the downside today in some cases, still looking at session lows almost as we speak here. For Rivian, that's dragging Lucid back to the downside. There's that Go EV. There's so much to talk about. We're going to spend the first few minutes here discussing some of the opportunities that we highlighted for you if you joined us at 8:30 this morning. If you didn't, I don't know where you were, but make sure tomorrow you are here because we walk you through everything you need to know in the pre-market every single day. For the first hour, get you set for the open. Let's get right into a little bit of review. Here comes Neil. He's going to talk about a trade from this morning.
Let's talk a little Rivian here, trade review for you. Obviously, you know it has been a wild debut for this IPO in the electric vehicle space, and it's been all to the upside, right? It's been an absolute boomer. I know today we came with a bit of a different idea because circumstances had it. There was a bit of a drop-off in the pre-market. I'm going to highlight the 15-minute chart, the foundation, when we start things at 15 or the daily, and the last couple of sessions, very strong moves. And then you had this. Right in the aftermarket, you were able to see this 175 push into 180. And then we came in today and then watched it fail at 175. And then it had flushed down and found a consolidation. So once you had that kind of relief pressure, it had gone up so much, right? What an unbelievable debut that Rivian has had. But usually there are going to be healthy pullbacks. And when you see something like that, immediately start thinking about the weakness and that short opportunity. So you see it down into this range, and I start blocking off a couple of levels that I know were going to be of interest to me. Of course, I mean, you can sort of see this area 150 and then this of 145 and then down here around 138 to 142. Target ideas for some shorts, but it's more about this consolidation that we see here. That brings that foundation that we come into. This is what it looked like, and we were noting this on the live show. You know, you had this drop, and it's amounted to near a $20 drop, and then just absolute barcode action. And then once I saw this around that 155, which was also a bit of a level back in our 15-minute chart, I simply said to myself, you know, I could have put that 930 rollover trade on where it pops at the open and you're looking to fade it. The problem with this trade is your stop is what, just sort of randomly wherever it goes to the high. I didn't have a level to work off of up there. So all I really wanted to look at was the top of this range, that 158 to 160 area. And then once we breached the bottom and there was a sell-off at the open, I'm going short on that break, give myself a 55 price, and then I'll just give it to that stop area, 58 to 60, and that's it. We're trading it all the way down to the bottom end of the ranges we had in that 15-minute chart. And the thing about it is we wanted to pick a bottom at some point on Rivian, and I wasn't willing to jump in front of the sword until it tested that 140 mark. So as planned, we get some out in front of 150. We cover the rest out in front of that 145 area. And at that point, once I'm flat and the short is worked out, I can then start thinking about where is the bottom play going to be. Ultimately, it does not quite test that 140 area the way that I expected, so I don't get a full position on. Mostly because this cluster here is about a 138 to 142. So I was willing to take some when it got to 42. But I wanted to see it breach that 40, hold 38, have confirmation that you've got that range, and then suddenly I can get more shares. It never really does make that break of the 40, so that's all we end up getting. I don't hold to VWAP, which might have been a bit of a mistake. As a matter of fact, as you guys can probably see, we're live and you'll get to see here in a minute, I actually have another long off of this at a higher low at 142. But the key thing was patience. You saw that down candle. You saw that move to the downside. And, you know, it's one thing to say I want to pick a bottom and I'm okay with it. There was some support here. It's another thing to allow the momentum to come back into you and be patient for that long. It gave you a great shorting opportunity, even better in the pre-market. We're glad we're able to take advantage of it here. It's all about the price action. You can be as bullish as you want on the stock, but you've got to be willing to go the other way sometimes. And today, perfect example of that here in Rivian. And there'll be plenty of more of that where it comes from for us on the daily show. Of course, in Means Movers throughout lunchtime. And then the closing show, we'll get just as many moves for you there. Rivian, a great one. I mean, Lucid moved as well, but hard to get away from this trade.
Yeah, amazing opportunities throughout the entire EV sector today based off of that Rivian move. We'll obviously look further at Rivian there, but great opportunities in Rivian both directions today. The initial flush was pretty impressive, kind of dragging, as I said, the rest of the group lower. Rivian was on the watch list today along with the Teslas of the world, the Lucids of the world, giving you all kinds of trading opportunities. So if you're looking for the watch list, guys, that once again is the link to find everything you need to know in the pre-market. We do all of your homework for you. We put it in one nice, neat package, and then we give it to you for absolutely free because that's how we like to do things. A couple of headlines here quickly, guys. We're going to have a brand new guest I'm very excited about. Justin, the marketing guy, is going to come on in a few minutes to talk a little bit about a few things. One of those is going to be Activision Blizzard, because negative news out yesterday, or I guess more confirmation about negative news out yesterday. So you can see ATVI, 1.5-year lows here, down 3%. So we'll touch on ATVI coming up here. Wanted to mention this one as well, because Deere back to the downside today, under pressure once again. So there's DE, there's Activision Blizzard, guys, there's the EV space. So much to talk about today.
Oh, we got a lot, and I will say, I'm
so excited for the marketing guy.
Talk a little active. Well, okay, look, Justin's
so
great.
excited.
I think it'll be a lot of fun. Don't crack me up, Sean. Actually, do crack me up. It's a lot of fun when we do this, guys. I am in this Rivian, by the way, and I'm going to long again in front of 140. So I took some and scalped some out of 142 half. I could have got 145, but I'm going to get back in. If 40 breaks, I still think there's that 138 level that we can play off of. But as you said, there's so much moving here today. And you had that IPO, the SEV IPO, which was a monster one there. They're the solar powered names. And then we got away from what I thought was a pretty good momentum stock, and that was Roku to the downside. And that's another one that we should be watching. But as you said, I'm not the Activision hater that Trader Brad is. But that one on the move a little bit today as well at the open.
I just want to say, put in here when we do evergreen. Okay, right there. So just type that into our chat. Someone said SEV too dangerous. No, I mean, danger is what you make of it. I mean, the thing about these stocks here is that, like we always mention, if you have an out, you have an out, and if you don't, you don't, right? So I think it's too dangerous to hold anything like this overnight. If that's the question you're asking, but I don't think trading it is too dangerous today. We don't have the IPO price here at 21, but we do have that first halt price of 22.80 or whatever it was. We went long there, got out half on reopen, which was right there, 23.40 or so. Took the rest out on the way up, couple bucks. This is my number one P&L wise stock today, just because of this move. And then we took some out again on the next halt on reopen. We're always doing this. Every time a stock reopens, we're going to take it out, except this last time, which we did. It opened up at 31, making new highs there. Forget about these wicks. It's really the 31 print that we're looking for. And then when it came back in, we did crush it out at 29. So my only longs today, 23, a little piece out. I think it's about, each one of these is about 20% or so, 15%. So we hold the last little bit for a 29 break. So that's the best we did on SUV today. Of course, this is Sono Group, another one of those EV names to look for here. So to answer your question, where's a trade? I mean, you said, is it too dangerous? I'm going to say no. And then to take it one step further, where's the trade? I think a 31 break. I think a 31 break's a good trade there. So we'll take a long if it breaks through 31, and then we'll get out if it busts back through 30. I mean, a very, very simple $1 worth of risk here, as I think we can get more than that if we do break 31. So 31 long, I want to put the ticket in right now. If it breaks through, then hopefully we'll get that long, and we'll give it about a buck or so backside. So that's a trade that I like here for SEV moving into the close here on the day, although there's still 2 hours left.
I saw what you did there. Put a ticket in. That's old school, man. Put the ticket in for the trade.
We're old school. We're old school.
How about solar cars? But what a move for that stock on its first day. TJX. So this has been the week of earnings, obviously, for the retail sector. We're going to get more tonight. There's a ton coming tonight as well, including Macy's. Kohl's, I believe, is another one coming tonight. So we'll have a look at those coming up tomorrow. TJX beating right across the board. Impressive move here, guys, today for TJX. When we were looking at in the pre-market, that high up there, 76.30 got taken out and then some. But we're kind of stalling out here a little bit for TJ Maxx. But this group obviously going to be in focus here.
Yeah, and I really wish for the day trade we hadn't slept on TJX a little bit, because you look at that daily and you look at that 76.25 up there on the daily chart, and then you get what are just an absolute series of breaks at the open where it's attempting to take out this level 1, 2, 3 times, and then again it tries to take that level out at about 10:30 an hour into the session. And when you get a failure like that, things get a little bit jittery. So when it makes there's lots of trades you could have had here, right? Like you could have had these rollovers obviously in the VWAP, but then when it fails lower, I think that's probably the lower hanging fruit. Once it broke that morning support level, you can see how jittery it got, and that can be, look, it's a fail breakout on the daily charts. That's when people might be taking profit, especially on a good print, and then you get that big flush coming in here essentially when it finally broke through 75. And now it's just barcoding, not really a heck of a lot happening. As you mentioned, we're going to get Macy's. Macy's is a different beast because, you know, obviously Macy's still has that short interest and a bit of a turnaround story as well. So they're not going to equate quite to a TJ Maxx, but it just goes to show that even if a stock isn't on your radar, if a particular setup is, you want to make sure that you're looking if it does have the potential for it. And I think that's what happened to me is, had I actually taken done the diligence to go back and have a quick look at the daily chart on TJ Maxx, understand that if it failed to break through at the open, it was going to be primed and set up for that rollover, given the nature of that bump up that it had from 70 overnight. That was a bit of a miss, but hey, at the end of the day, I can't be mad, because when you're trading Rivian like we were at the open, and I mean, obviously Lucid was moving as well, you have to prioritize, right? And pre-market volume is going to win out 10 times out of 10 usually for us as day traders, and that's the case here. So yeah, TJX was probably a high probability trade in terms of risk to reward as well, but ultimately you got to go where you think the movement was going to be, and we were certainly right about that with Rivian.
Yeah, should be interesting in the retail spot. We've seen Home Depot, obviously, and Lowe's come through, Target come through as well, and now we're going to go into the more traditional, I guess, clothing retailers. Obviously, Macy's is a lot more than that, but we'll see some of these, I guess, department stores, I guess, if that's even a thing anymore. And Macy's has had a lot of activists, not Activision, activist movement here, calling for them to, digitize or even spin off that aspect of their company. So Macy's obviously a big real estate play as well. They have that building there in New York. I think this has been a little bit too much. I mean, every single movement down has been bought back up. I'm not sure they're going to get that opportunity tomorrow. I'm looking for Macy's to come out, warn a little bit, possibly about supply chain like everybody is always doing. I know Walmart and Target sort of pass the buck on that. But right here, I like Macy's today to see. I mean, this 32 has just been such a great. I mean, it's doubled up. It's doubled up since August, right? So I think this is due for a pullback. When something goes this sort of parabolic and it's a traditional retailer, I don't think that's cool for an investment up here. Could they beat? Yes. Could they go higher? Yes. But my money here on Macy's would be to the downside. So I'll look to see them talk about some possible headwinds instead of tailwinds in their next quarter.
Yeah, it's been an impressive move for that entire group over the past few weeks. We're going to touch on some cannabis opportunities coming up here in a second. Before we do, though, I want to go back to, that's coming, Robbie. Let's go back to EV land just for a quick second here, guys, because Lucid just starting to curl back to the upside here. If we had to, maybe I saw a lot of people very quick to point out. Remember, we were saying, Rivian surpassed Volkswagen's market cap. I saw a lot of people on Twitter very quick to point out that, it's gone back below. Obviously, it's down 16% today. But if we had to point out maybe an opportunity or two in this group going into the last 2 hours here, I mean, where do we go, guys?
I've got the long on Rivian, I think, off of that same 140 level that it bottomed out in the morning. And I think that opportunity feels like it's come and gone on Lucid, because the equivalent of that would be the $50 trade, which I know Trader Prad was on as well. And it popped down here to like 50-30 or so. I was able to get 60s. I'm already in and out of that trade. The second I look at this cluster going back here up to this 53 to 55, I was willing to hold it into that 53. And when it started stalling out, I just sort of walked away from it. Now, there is still the chance that we can put in a higher low. In the back of my mind, I think this is important. Like I was filling in obviously for you, Brennan, when Sean and Arun were going over the close trade, and I have never seen anything like the sell imbalance that was there. So in the back of my mind, and that was on Rivian, in the back of my mind, I would be at least a little bit cautious in terms of holding longs going into 350. Take profit where you can, because you never know. Like, what if someone's trying to sell in chunks and taking advantage of that of the auction for that? So I like the bottom picks tighter to these levels. I think it's 50 on Lucid. I already clearly think it's that 140 area, maybe 138 support as well on Rivian. But I wouldn't be chasing it too far away. Whoa! What? Yeah,
Mastercard right now possibly taking Visa from Amazon right now. So, a big move up here for Mastercard. Visa probably going the other way. There's a co-branded Visa card right now so you can get an Amazon credit card, right? Which is now co-branded with Visa. So apparently, off some of that report earlier this morning about the UK, it's now looking like MasterCard here, Brendo, could be part of this take today. So we'll see. MasterCard's been a completely different story than Visa here. You could see on a daily chart, which I can call up for you in 1 second, right here. MasterCard's kind of doing nothing. So it's not like this has been amazing, but MasterCard here kind of doing that. And then as you can see, Visa, if and when my chart will load up here, which it will, you can see Visa complete opposite trajectory. And there's Visa right now cracking below 52-week lows. We'll see if it can, not below 52-week lows. This recent low of 207. Visa looks like it'll take out 200 here, but just another name to watch out for, MasterCard.
All right, let's talk about some cannabis names. As promised, guys, we learned a little bit last week about this potential GOP-led bill that could lead to legalization. This is obviously not the first time that we've gone down this road, but it's different this time because of the Republican tie. Here's the headline I am talking about. Republicans, leading this latest legalization bill to seek lower taxes and state control, which I think is key. They're going to pass this off to the states to control, even though it will be a federal bill. So that raises the question, where do we go for these opportunities? Because if this does go through, obviously there's going to be many opportunities right through this group.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, the truth of the matter is you've been waiting around for, full legalization in the United States for quite some time. And it's been a painful process, I think, for anyone that's been bag holding. It didn't take profit the first time through. Now, there's some notable things through this potential proposal. That said the tax might be a little bit lower than was anticipated. That could be good for the growers. But if you watch our show, then you probably know that every single time we talk about cannabis, cannabis, I talk about fading sundial, so we're not going to talk about sundial here. And I think if you're a little bit risk averse and it's not a sector that you are, like heavily favoring or even have the best understanding, your simple play, as far as I'm concerned, and I know Sean, you might talk about the company that Constellation has a piece of, but I think Constellation Brands gives you a couple things, right? Now, everybody's going to understand Constellation Brands is about the spirited beverages, but they do have a stake in Canopy, and it is I think it's like almost a 40% stake in Canopy growth. I think that's a good way to be able to play this because you get the safety of a dividend. It's a good way to, I think, pair, like if you're going to make a play in something a little bit riskier with higher upside, you pair it with this, and then all of a sudden you've got that stability. You still have some exposure to the upside in the overall space, but then you're not worried about overnight, okay, am I going to be caught holding the bag, right? Like it's a stable company with a solid dividend, with a nice trajectory. It already has support beneath it here, breaking out as we speak above the 200 and the 15-period moving averages. So it has a lot of things. I think if you're a little bit more, I guess, risk averse is part of the way to go, or cautious. And I mean, another one in that vein would be maybe like a Scott's Miracle Grow, which provides you a lot of the same things. It's just exposure with a safe dividend and a more stable stock. And for me, that's the first place that I would want to lean into, especially when trying to pick in time. This has been such a difficult game, although very lucrative if you get the right one.
Yeah, you have to pick the right name, and that's been a difficult move here. I'm not sure. Look, everybody knows that I, favor Canopy growth, so that's for sure one that I'm going to look at. But I want to give you another name right here. What about Grow Generation Brands? We talked about this when we talked about legalization in the past, and I'm just going to show you this move here. The last time I recommended this, it was down here, and that's when we saw Kamala Harris go at it for the VP debate, and she was talking about legalization, and this thing shot up to $64. You want to talk about like a high growth name, man? This is it. So Grow Generation Brands, revenues absolutely soaring. Over 50 retail locations regarding hydroponic sales in the US, with tons and tons of revenue growth, right? And I think that's something that we're looking at. I'm just going to show you right here. Their PE is crazy. They don't have any earnings. You're going to see that's this little down here, 18.37 million in the year. But this is the blue line is their revenue growth. And you could see, like, remember Amazon and some of those companies are going to have huge revenue growth projections, but yet their stock gets hit, right? So you are paying forward prices for this name. But I just think in the hydroponic space, and again, part of this bill is going to be, right, that you're going to be allowed to grow your own. So when people are going to look for hydroponics, they're going to go to a name that they know, they trust, they love. And I think Grow Generation has that. Obviously, the PE, like I just told you, is near 70. So it's one of those explosive names, but at least they have some kind of earnings and a huge revenue growth potential. So, hey, look, it's been beat down, but it's starting to curl up a little bit. I like this name right here. You could visit $14, $15. I don't think we pile into this name, but if we can get above like this 24, 25 area, which we're not too far away from here, then I think there's a great opportunity in GRWG, Grow Generation Brands for the future. Bet on the revenue growth. If that can start to double, triple from here, then you'll start to see some money flow into this as a potential home run.
A couple of key points to highlight here as well, guys. 3.75% is the excise tax that's being proposed here in this bill, or the potential of a bill. That's versus the last time we went through this, the Democrats throwing out 25.5% on the tax side of things. So definitely more opportunity for this to be liked by enough people to get it passed. So all kinds of opportunities to come possibly in the cannabis sector. Will this get even into the House of Representatives? We shall see. Let's continue along with a discussion here, guys, on what is to come this afternoon. We have so many opportunities when it comes to, trading these EV names. We also talk about the Visas, the MasterCards of the world. Sean, what are you looking at?
Just waving over to you quickly because we did, and unfortunately I would have taken this all out, but we were doing that video for you. SEV does break, guys, and I told you that we would take the 31 break. I would have definitely had something out here. Look, it's still 55 cents of the money, so hells yeah, silent alert on this trade. Thank you for asking me about this, but we're long at 31.20. The break happened at 31. We got 19s and change. I'd first out 55 there, next out 65. So we've made some cash flash on the upside here, and it did touch. I just want to give everyone an idea here. It did touch that 32 bucks there, and then came back in. So I said it would probably be good for the dollar break. There's the dollar break. So hopefully some of you are able to have that. If not, that's still fine. We're still in the money on this name, but I just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention. We are out of 2/3 of this trade here, and I'm just going to use this bottom right here, I guess. I said I'd use 30 as a bottom, so let's do that. If it breaks through 30, we're going to get out, but so far so good on this trade. But I just want to, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no, we should go over this because I know you guys couldn't see our positions for a couple of minutes there. And when that story went on, Sean gave the MasterCard news, and the second I was able to confirm, of course, that it was true, obviously I trusted him, we looked at Visa right away. And the fact that you could get it, it goes crazy for like a minute or two between 201 and 203, and able to get right in that midpoint, which is almost perfect. I took some out in front of 200 because 200 is 200, and now I'm just holding the rest. So, flash news there. Visa was already under pressure because of the whole UK Amazon thing today that got dropped, and you're going to throw this as well, which probably a bigger deal in my estimation. But anyways, we'll see how that plays out. And obviously, Visa going to continue to be under pressure. So the Rivian longs basically flat, but Visa, I'm going to give this one back to 202. Otherwise, hang on to it into the close.
All right, let's bring in Justin Kozak joining us this afternoon. Day Trade the World marketing guy is with us, who pays a lot of attention to these higher level kind of macro events that do affect individual companies and individual names that we talk about a lot on the show. We're happy to have you, Justin. Welcome. Let's jump right into this because, wow, just as we were sitting here this afternoon, now we get this additional kind of headline that MasterCard might be the reason why Amazon pulls the Visa plug, if you will, over in the UK.
Right. Thanks for having me, Brandon. Yes, exactly. I mean, it looks like Amazon might be the Grinch here. They've said that as of January 19th, 2022, that they're going to be blocking all Visa card transactions. So it looks like the Grinch is back, and Brexit is a little bit to blame here now that there's increased transaction rates post the Brexit incident. So. Really, the argument here is an argument that most retailers have made since the beginning of time, or at least since the beginning of arguing about credit card processing fees, is that they're simply way too high. Amazon is obviously they're in a great position because they offer their own card. Incidentally, it's Visa branded, so they're in a great position to be able to push their own card and retain some of their customers and offer the same card. So there's really no downside for them. Obviously, no love lost on the Visa side. They're saying that they only take 0.1% on average of all transactions, and of course they're going with the usual, we're working towards finding a solution. So it will be interesting to see what happens with this. I think that this is one of those things where a retailer and a Visa or a credit card company will go toe to toe for a few weeks, but I will be so bold to predict in a few weeks, this will have gone to the wayside, and the block on cards will be gone long before the new year.
It's an interesting thought, and the first thing that I actually came to my mind when I heard about this was Costco. And Costco in this country specifically has kind of gone through a wide range of different offerings when it comes to the card or credit card of choice that they accept in their stores in this country. So maybe it's, as you were saying, the start of a little bit of friendly competition in the space. Again, that's just the UK, right? So nothing else is changing anywhere else. It's just the UK, but that's still a pretty big deal. Let's talk ATVI, Activision Blizzard. We learned of the not so favorable headlines coming out of ATVI. Yesterday, we get the news that it was a huge walkout, but a majority of the staff leaving because of this.
Right. This story has been going on since July of this year, and really it's been kind of happening before that. This story sort of began really in the public eye when the state of California's Department of Fair Employment and Housing filed a lawsuit against the organization for what they quoted for what they called was a frat boy culture, and detailed some very eyebrow-raising behavior by certain individuals, not the least of which the CEO Bobby Kotick has been implicated in. So, yesterday's walk-off was the second, and it's this came on the heels of a report in the Wall Street Journal that detailed how the CEO was aware of some pretty nefarious behavior within the organization and actually failed to report a number of sexual assaults to the board of directors. So certainly there's been a lot of confidence, or rather a loss of confidence in the CEO as well as the board of directors by obviously the employees who work there. And this is definitely a story that is certainly continuing. Obviously, all of this is happening against the backdrop of the launch of Vanguard, which was 2 weeks ago, and the imminent launch of Ricochet, their new anti-cheat system. So they're definitely struggling in the reputational department internally, and it wouldn't surprise me if there was an increased public backlash to the point where people would actually refuse to buy their products. And certainly what's happening here is going to drive a lot of that anti-Activision sentiment.
Yeah, massive company with very popular games, very popular titles that a lot of people pay a lot of attention to. So not good on that front. Let's go to EV world here because we've been talking about it all day. And I'm not talking about cars. We're talking about, Justin, tractors, because why not? There's already autonomous lawnmowers that you can buy. And you take, the lawnmower, the autonomous lawnmower, throw it out on your lawn. It kind of figures out your lawn and then cuts your grass for you. Tell us about Monarch, because this company Monarch, which builds these autonomous tractors, raises $61 million.
Right. So they're based in Livermore, California, and they're distanced between Silicon Valley and the Napa, Sonoma, and Central Valley, which makes their location relatively unique in that they don't have to go very far to do any product testing. It's quite literally in their backyard. So all of their R&D, all of their manufacturing, and their headquarters are based in Southern California. All their data analytics are stored and processed in Singapore. So they have near-shorted a little bit, but for the most part, they're operating out of California. What's really interesting about this organization is, as you said, it's entirely electric, and it's a driver-optional vehicle. So you can have someone sitting in the seat if necessary, but if you would like to run 24/7 autonomous operations, they have a battery that you can install into this vehicle, and it will do daytime and nighttime farming operations. The one thing that I really like about this company is that it's data driven. As someone who is very focused on analytics, the idea of using data and analytics to understand things like how to optimize operations or reduce operations costs, or even monitor crop health, I think is going to be something that's really interesting. The old school farmers, they might be a little bit hesitant to adopt this kind of technology, and I think that it's going to be a few years for them to cross the chasm. But I think once they can see the long-term financial benefits by it, I think the adoption of this kind of autonomous farming, I think, is going to increase. What's really interesting about this company, too, there's a lot of interesting things about them, is that part of the leadership team, at least one individual, was responsible for the development of Tesla's Gigafactory. Someone else, the chief farming officer, which I think is probably the most interesting title I've heard in a while, is a fourth-generation wine grower from the Mondavi family. So you have a lot of people on the leadership team that have a solid understanding of autonomous vehicles, ag tech, and so on. So the downside to this is when you start to remove the human element from this kind of work, you reduce the employment capability or the employment numbers. This isn't exactly a popular topic in some circles, and there are always going to be people that push up against that. But I think overall, I think this company is very interesting to me. I think that there's a great opportunity here to build ag tech, and I'm really excited to see where this company goes.
Yeah, Monarch is the name of that. I was just looking up here. 2019, the end of 2019, farming in the U.S., a $1.1 trillion industry. So massive opportunity, to say the least, for a company of that kind of nature. Justin Kozach, a wonderful guest. Thank you so much for the great information. The marketing guy at Day Trade the World, everybody.
Thank you,
Justin. Great ideas, guys.
Fantastic, man. I just put it in the chat
Love
that
it.
I'd like to have that a couple times a week, to be honest with you.
Yeah, why not?
Right there. And people said that if Justin was wearing my shirt, then he would truly be a lumberjack. So
Yes.
I want to say thank you to Justin for that as well.
the swap.
And go Leafs go as well, Justin. So we'll pass that on to him. He's a good friend of ours, but he's switched over to the Edmonton Oilers, his allegiance. And so that is
They're pretty good.
Big mistake in my book, but we're just playing around. Thank you, Justin. A great insight again. And it's always nice, like we're kind of stock guys.
Yeah.
He's the marketing guy, right? So it's out. Hey, Justin, I saw you.
I love that nickname,
He tried to
man.
sneak under there. We saw you. We caught you there. Oh, there it is right now. Let's go. The chicken tendies. Bang! We hit the home runs right there for SEV. Someone asked me, Sean, did you get out? I said, hell no. It comes back up there to 32.50, and we ring the register. So let's go. It's only 2:34. I'm energized. We're jacked up. We're ready to rock and roll. There we go, 1 for 1. We don't have to trade anymore. I mean, we're well above. We're at 2 times daily goal right now. We were at 1 times at about 950. SEV, my number 1 stock, and we take it to the bank. It just ripped to 34. Oh my God, I got out too early. But man, this is fun. If you don't enjoy trading, you're watching the wrong program.
Yeah, definitely. You had crazy action on the stock. And look, like we were saying this morning, it's just about the EV space. Just don't fight it. Just enjoy the ride here. I took a break at 33. Now, obviously, it's a bit of a double top as well. I could have taken some out at 34 there, as it got right to 33.99. So you don't want to get trapped in kind of a crazy fail breakout. But this was an open at 20 bucks, guys. So we gave you all kinds of opportunities to get into it, and we talked about the reasons why. Still in that Visa trade, although, by the way, it is coming back a little bit. So this is a problem with trading Snap News. Is a lot of times the initial move can be it. If that's going to be the case here, I'm still giving it to that 202. My stop is in place. I just want to. I kind of feel like this is bigger news than the initial story in London there. But we'll see what happens here with Visa if it comes back to 202. I'm not giving it all the way back to that range high, guys.
A pretty impressive bounce. I was going to mention that off that 200 level there for Visa. Just checking here, guys. This SEV. 16 million shares came to market there, so not huge to say the least. There's also this one that just popped up. JWEL just took out day highs there. This thing's been on a multi-day run, up 27.5%. So just going to double check on JWEL, but another one on the run here this afternoon.
Yeah, and we'll do. I don't know. We hit some of the new ones there. I like the Wiz one. We call it the Wiz. I don't know. I forget the reason why we call it the Wiz. We call it the Wiz. Approaching $35 now. We're on SEV. I will be taking it out in front of 35 and then hunting for breakouts and scalp trades. I sat it out after the open, and you're going to get back into it here when I made the top end break. So I was able to get some out in front of that 34 eventually, and then we're going to look for 35 even. At some point, I kind of feel like it can come back down. I have paid for shorts, although I have not taken a short trade on this stock yet. There's always a first time for everything, I suppose. We're not at that point yet. I think almost not blindly, because you should never do anything blindly. If we break 35, I'll probably be looking at $40 even as a sort of a spot to take some shares, maybe to the short side. But right now, 34. This is an iceberg. Iceberg alert at 34 here. I might decide to cover this. If I see it come and test and it holds again, oh, forget it, didn't hold. Never mind. I was going to say, if it had held that level again, I probably would have covered. Now we're on the way to 35 even. Looks like the stock cannot be stopped. Solar vehicles, solar-powered electric vehicles for everybody, apparently.
Yes,
even though they have none yet.
Right. We don't pay for actual earnings or actual cars. We just pay for attractive symbols. And SEV today is definitely one of those. I took the 31 long, got out there 32.50, whatever it was. Pretty happy with that. Sure, 33.50. And now you're going to the upside, 35 now, looking like on SEV here. Okay, from a car company that is just IPOing to one that's been around probably the longest. And we'll look at Ford right now. It's touching 20 bucks, man. We talked about this today, that we'd want to fade this move into 20. It's all the way up right now. You can see there is some size here at $20, but it's not a lot. This has been such a great position for me, both every time we seem to trade it here on the show and then in my own personal account as well. We've been loving Ford. It's been a great opportunity for me, for us, for everyone to trade in the EV space. So Ford continues to work. I'm happy with it. I'm not going to short 20 right now. It's too far up. It's about to break it. So I do think a long through 20 is probably what gets everybody excited. So we're going to do that. If we see a 21 here, we'll take it on Ford and we'll be pretty happy about it. So I'm excited here. Let's see what we can do with Ford breaking through 20 right now, guys.
Yeah, so I did just ring the register on that at 34.5 there. And VWAP Trader asking what's important or what's interesting about an iceberg order. All it means is an offer or a bid, I suppose, that they're displaying 100 shares or 1,000 shares. Each one of these is 100 board lots, 100 share lots. These ones. So they're displaying that amount, but then they have a reserve behind it that's larger. So, I mean, if they could be displaying 100 shares, and it could be 100,000 shares on that offer. Right. It could be 1 million shares on that offer. And when I see that hold on a breakout, that's somebody with a large amount probably trying to take some profit. I don't mean maybe they're initiating a short. I think that's probably crazy if they're, I don't know, it's possible. It could be either one, I suppose. But you just look at that as a clear large size order. And you're making a bit of a bet when you see it in front of an obvious level like that, in front of 35 at that 34.50 or the 34 even, that could be something that could turn the stock because it's already gone parabolic. So anticipate that it could slow things down. Of course, when they break, you're relieving a heck of a lot of pressure. And I think that's why, as traders, we look at those levels as nice jump-off points. I did get a leg back into Rivian as well. That's the other long position we had on. I'm going to scalp these out for like $1.50 when I can. It's been so weak today on Rivian that I do want to hold some of this, but I want to make sure, because even if it breaks 140, there's still that 138 level. So as it tests lower, I want to make sure I'm taking some profit almost really quickly on the way up, and then sort of able to get back into more shares at a better price each time through and be nimble about this trade, not trying to take like a $5 hit on any of these longs here at the end of the day. SEV is getting to that 35, some resistance right now. And if you're watching Tesla, which I don't have any executions on, hovering around that 1100 mark. Relative strength in Tesla. As money came out of Rivian and Lucid, Tesla was screaming to the upside all morning long, eventually getting to 1120. Looks like that poll on Memes and Movers, it's right here. They had a poll and it was like, will Tesla close above 1100? It's going back and forth here. I actually voted no. I mean, at the time, it didn't really seem like it was going to. The momentum was down. And now you're saying it held a bit at 1072, and we're headed right back into the upside. So looks like that one's still up in the air.
Yeah, it's impressive with some of these other ones. Rivian almost day lows here. This Jwel Global announcing a strategic opportunity with or strategic partnership with Unilever. So this is a Chinese cosmetic maker and retailer from China. So that's was that JOWL or JWEL is the stock. I was just making day highs as we speak. Why don't we kind of continue down the retail road, if you will? I noticed Macy's not really doing a heck of a lot today. Kohl's not really doing a heck of a lot today. There's earnings to come for both tonight. There's a headline there on, it's not Snap, it's Snap-on Incorporated, the tool maker. But both Macy's, guys, one we talk about all the time, and also KSS going to be on watch.
Kohl's, Macy's, sure. I mean, a whole bunch of earnings. I mean, I'm still looking. I know this is the time when we talk about everything, but the thing is, you can't pull me away from trading. I know. Okay, so I discussed Macy's a little bit earlier. We can check out KSS. A lot of these names have been on such monster moves, right? And I think it would have been good also to talk to Justin about some of these moves here. That's Ford, come on. Some of these moves here that's been happening in the space. You could see Kohl's monster move, right? From this bottom that we just had back in October, obviously on the news, and now you're touching up to $60, $66. Look, I don't know what to think. This is going to be a very, very unique season here for retail because we're coming up obviously on a very important quarter for them as holiday season as is here, and so is Black Friday coming up as well. So very, very interested to hear what they all have to say about possible moving forward with their targets, where they are on all this. You're well above the 50-period moving average here at $51. Let's just wait to see what Kohl's comes through with. But I mean, just a year ago, right? We were down to 21, so now you're at 60. 3x move here. A little bit heated for me on Kohl's. Again, you know, the dangers on the downside. I worry about it only because, honestly, Walmart, Lowe's, even Home Depot, like a lot of these people, a lot of these companies saying that they have supply and their shelves are going to be stocked, and their stock still went down, right? Walmart's still down. Target was down, or I'll have to check what Target's doing right now. But these stocks are down, and I feel like they had positive things to say. So, you know, what's going to happen if and when there are some negative comments maybe coming from one of these retailers? So I worry about that. And for me, I'm staying away from any early positions here, pre-earnings on any of these names.
I tend to agree. With the interesting thing, at least about Kohl's, is it does have some interesting technicals. Lower high double top 75, and then the 200 period, which is in play today at 54.65, and then also the 50 period below. So if we do get a bad print, at least we have an idea of where there could be some bounce plays for Kohl's. And then there's some obvious breakout areas at 60.75, of course, and then you know, you get those highs at 66 even. Definitely going to be worthwhile. Just coming right back into, you know, trading still happening here, but coming back into this Visa trade, it's now all the way back. And this is the thing with flash news. This is, if you discount the craziness, because of course the news came out, it was a 202.50. It initially flushed down at 201 and sort of settled down at 201.67 or 50. I got 67. It's at 201.50, right in the middle. So when it comes back to this price, I want to give it a chance to roll over again, but I don't want to give it too far. If they're going to buy this back as if nothing happened, there we go. 202 breaks and I'm going to get out. But I wanted to give it a chance that it was going to make some fresh lows. I wasn't willing to turn a flash news trade into a loser by holding it back into VWAP, but I did want to give it some room to try and hit a home run. I mean, I thought room down to 195, 196 on the daily could have been a thing, but hey, we swung. It'll be a winning trade here. Part of it was probably that it was down so far already. I mean, Visa, you know, moving at this point, at the time of the trade, it moved $13.50 and then eventually down about 15 or 16. That's a big move for Visa as it is, let alone expecting more.
On our way to 3 o'clock here, guys, we're going to get more of the Chinese names reporting earnings aftermarket tonight. It'll actually be later on because they report on China's market time. But I want to talk about Baidu quickly here. Also, Billy, because we're going to get Alibaba tonight. We're going to get JD.com, I believe, as well. Baidu, though, this was actually, if I move over here, this was actually positive in the pre-market when I sat down today and held nicely, in fact, after they reported. And then this thing just absolutely fell apart today, all the way back to 160, which is a huge level on the daily chart. You know, kind of leads you to the conversation of, you know, everyone's still kind of skeptical on these names.
Until you start talking about the EV space, like you said, we talk about government support and where the crackdowns are and where they aren't, and the EV space is where it is. And even then, you have a few names that have not been treating you too well if you're a shareholder. This is not good news for Alibaba's numbers. And like the other thing too is like Alibaba in particular, there was strong numbers on Singles Day, and we talked about that a couple times, and it didn't really seem to give enough of a bounce there for Alibaba. So we're at that point where the fundamentals might not matter. Like you might get a decent report from Alibaba in growth, and you might get good guidance, and it just at the end of the day, it's going to come down to that risk. That risk level that I don't think anybody can understand how to price in at this point, which is at least difficult to do. So I take this as a warning sign for Alibaba. My own shares that have gone in the money and are now going to be underweight again, I assume, because I'm going to double check it. Yeah, that's right. They just went underweight by like a few shekels or so because I'm long at 62s. Not that the price matters, but under pressure going into it. I guess the only good thing to say is they've come down, so there's some rubber band action potentially for Alibaba. I have more concern than anything else because you break back down below that 50 period and you break the support on earnings at 158. And all the world kind of feel like there's a lot of people that would have been in this long on the way down thinking everything was roses and might be cutting bait with tight stops, and we could be headed down to that 140. So that 130 to 140 area could potentially get into play, where I still think it's a good buy. We're talking about that I mean, way back when this was at 200, it's like, yeah, the worst case scenario, there's a lot of support that looks like it'll be there at 130, and now you're feeling like that could come into play. SEV, by the way, just flushed, so I'm going to cancel that. Obviously, it didn't break out at 35, so I'm not going to get that position. I don't want to break out given how far it just came in, so I just canceled my stop to go long for 35. I'd like to see it calm down. If it has to move 10% to get the breakout, well, I don't want to punch long into a halt necessarily, so canceling that stop order.
Yeah, if it holds to the downside, maybe something to look at here. We'll talk about China shares as well, like Neil just talking about there. The iShares Trust China Large Cap ETF. I've been talking about this literally since the bottom here, $37, $38, not 37, but like 38, 39 in here. We talked about it when it was down here, that it was finding some support. If you go all the way back to May of 2020 there, guys, so not even March. Obviously, the March bottoms are right there, but you got to go back to May to see these levels. So I thought that that was a good pickup. It's not going to be as sexy. You're not going to get the crazy returns that you thought you may get in a Baba or a Baidu or a JD or anything like that. But, you know, they have Tencent. You know, that's a good one. That's a nice name that I like, TCEHY, if you're going to invest in something. But I would just choose, honestly, why really risk it? If you're looking for those big returns, then sure, there's going to be a lot of different Chinese names. Dada is one of them. I mean, I have to.
You have to.
Dada.
So there are a few other names like that you know you're going to get on the software side of things, and you know just more in, I don't know, innovation and whatnot. I'm going to hope it's a NASDAQ stock. There it is, yeah. But you're going to see as well, you know, some of the action in some of these names. You know, if you bought the bottoms in Dada not too long ago when we were talking about FXI, then you get 18 or 19, and then now you're at 24. So you know you get 50% return right there in just a couple weeks. So you are going to get better returns on some of these names, but you do have more risk to the downside. So for me, it's an FXI type of thing until there's some more clarity. I know President Biden met yesterday, I believe it was.
Yep.
And so, you know, with President Xi, and we'll see. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. There wasn't much that came out of that. But hopefully better talks moving forward on some of these Chinese names. I'm still a shareholder in Alibaba north of 200. That's going to be a name that we're going to hold for a bit. And again, I'm not buying anything on these dips, but for me, it would be Alibaba and Tencent. Those would be the two names I'd look at.
Sean, you were talking about PayPal a lot today as we get another move to the downside. I just noticed this one, Square as well, 2.4% to the downside. Trying to hold some levels here, 231. I mean, this entire group obviously under pressure, but we're back to basically the exact middle or thereabouts of the range on the overall daily chart. It's amazing. This thing went all the way down to 190, going back to that last dip. But Square trying to go here, guys. Some buyers stepping up a little bit.
Yeah, look, PayPal was the only, I'll talk about PayPal quickly and then we can look at Square. PayPal's the only negative stock I have on board today, and we've traded like 5 or 6 names. So, and it's not even that bad. You know, it's just, we thought it would hold. Obviously, when you're looking at a broader picture here, I keep getting asked questions. Is PayPal a good long-term buy? I'm saying yes, 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 and more yeses as much as you can. At this point, I guess I would prefer Square just because of the action here on PayPal. And they catch a downgrade today. Not a great day to catch a downgrade as the NASDAQ's kind of teetering. You see SoFi down. I mean, some of these high-flying names down today, so PayPal gets stuck in that. And then here's what we did today so far. I mean, we bought some 208s. We were able to get some out, you know, on this move upside there. And then we got clocked down there at 206. So some of these buys were okay. We're able to get out for relatively flat, but then obviously if our last out is down here, you know it's going to be a losing stock for me today. But there's that dip buy down to 203 one more time. So I wish I would have taken that. I didn't. Wasn't even here looking at it. But I like PayPal for a long-term situation there. Venmo. I mean, we talk about, it's just amazing. Like, Amazon's going to use Venmo, which is PayPal. And like, I don't know, like I thought that it would have spiked up even on that news, and we did get a little bit, where's the 20-minute chart here? We did get a little bit of a move up in the last couple of days off of that 202, including yesterday, and I guess that was part of the news. Yesterday going up to 215, 216 there, but right now, man, it is just some downside nastiness here for PayPal. So I think you got to still stick with the long and try to protect that 200.
Yeah, I think at least in Square, I'm going to look at Prague here because it's moving, guys. So we got to talk about it. At least with Square, like you said, the price action much better. It's very close to getting back above that 250 for potential break of the 50 and the 200 period moving averages. So technically, it looks a little bit better in my estimation. Just something when something isn't trading the way that you expect or reacting to the news, sometimes it's better to just be patient on it, right? So I think that's one of the things that you got to be able to do. Prague made a break as we were doing this right through the low of the day, 475. There are some interesting levels if it drops any further, obviously down to 420, because why not? were found support in the afternoon yesterday. And then I am kind of looking right here at about that 450 level first. First and foremost, I'm looking at that 450. If it can hold up there, I definitely like a chance to catch a little bit of a falling sword. Just for a quick scalp dip buy. I have an hour to go, so we can put on more flexible trades like that. SEV is going to be back on the radar for that potential breakout here. Now, it did flush off at 35. Still manages to, and look, it broke through the previous high of the day, but it did hold that first support. When it first stalled out here at 33, and eventually when we took the 33 break, it does hold that 31, I guess a 31.30 support level, and comes back up. So if you break out under those conditions, it's still pretty bullish. It's not nearly as bullish as it was before when it first opened up, but I think the scalp trade's certainly there. Like get in, get out, make your money on that 35 break. So that one's back in play for me. If it came all the way down, down to VWAP, obviously you got to adjust the plans. That probably would have involved a halt down, which could still be in play, although that just got resisted as we speak.
Halt alert, Hemisphere Media Group, which is HMTV. It's been halted a couple of times here, but it just opened, came back down a little bit. So it appears they had an offering, a previously announced offering, and then today they decided to cancel said offering. So the termination of their offering just out here. So big volume coming into HMTV. Want to mention this one as well because people are still talking about Cassava Sciences. I mean, this is a very headline-driven stock, to say the least. Today we get this one to a 3-month low today after the SEC probe is announced. So what a move today for Sava, guys.
Look, I mean, Cassava Sciences is probably a stock that doesn't necessarily always need really, really bad news to go to the downside. In this particular case, that's exactly what you got. So they got the good bump. Recently, of course, we're talking about the finding, the no data manipulation finding, and why that may or may not, you're not going to go all the way back. There's still a lot of risk involved in stock, and that's something we talked about, even though we had some great longs that day, right? Like when you trade news, you got to be able to play the momentum. We're very fortunate, I think, this morning in that when you got the initial push down, which was early, it was at 9 o'clock or just after 9 o'clock, it made a bottom here at $46, good levels on the daily chart, and then came right back and tested 55 and put in a lower high, was able to get that 930 pop trade, which is one of my favorite setups, and then we're able to take that short. I got all of it out in front of 46, which looks like it is still the low of the day. I mean, it got to 45.5, so I guess technically it broke. If this can't hold up, you got to start thinking about these levels. Go all the way back, of course, to when this was kind of double bottoming around that $40 level. Certainly a higher low at 43, and then down here at about 38. So right in the middle, that $40 could come into play if this continues tomorrow. And I just feel like my usual tone with Cassava Sciences is to short till it's not. That has been usually a good way to approach it, despite the fact I know a lot of people are going to want to make that bet because the upside is tremendous for them. But ultimately, you got to play the momentum, like I said. And this is a short until it's not stock. And maybe that $40 level does hold up today or tomorrow. About 40, 50 cents away from SEV, which is headed right back towards that high. So could get that breakout we're looking for. I guess another breakout, I suppose.
Yeah, I just put in the chat there that I'm going to take this breakout of 35. We dipped, all the way back down to 31 there. So very, very careful here if you take this break. Do not have a big stop here on this because, we've already tested 35, and when it failed, man, it dropped 10%. All the way back down to 31. So you drop off that $3 there on the move back for SEV. So for me, man, I mean, we'll take it. And then, I don't know, 33.50, something like that, to prove us wrong. So we'll wait for SEV. And if we're going to take 33.50, that means we're going to try to hold as much as we can for that $1.50 or so win on this one. It's my largest stock today. Take that initial halt price and just murder that one upside. And then this one, a nice trade, but obviously could have had some more on that. So we'll wait to see if it does take that out on SEV. Of course, Sono. This could be like, this could be $50 tomorrow. Like, we can't hold overnight. So we're just going to try to play the momentum here during the day. And if this is like it's not going to be a baby Rivian. Amazon doesn't own 20% of this. Well, Ford doesn't own 12% of this, right? So, and then by the way, guys, like
I don't even know who's buying those. Yeah, never.
It's just because it's 16 million, I think, shares. So there's just not too much float out there. But I mean, here's Ford. Unfortunately, I mean, not unfortunately, but we could have been big time on this stock. We could have shorted an unlimited amount of shares here at 99 as it did touch 20. So, you know, that was a missed opportunity there. We are waiting for that break to come through on Ford. But for right now, looks like we missed an opportunity shorting 20. And it's just really funny that we missed that opportunity because, and again, you know, I always kind of talk about this, but there it is. Ford has been a short. Ford has been a short at 20 when it's been up here in the past, and there it is again today on that on our sticky note list. And again, the sticky notes aren't going to be super crazy right now. We've already gone over some of those levels. They've already been traded through. That's why we've done so well today on some of those names. But watch out for Ford. And again, this is what I mean. Every time Ford's come up here, sure, it's gotten to 2030, 2050, things like that. But every time, you know, it's come back in. You know, it hit it there, it opened up higher and came in. Here it hits 2028 or whatever it was, comes back below $20 again. So, you know, I was hoping that we could take the long, settle around, you know, 2030, 2040, something like that, cash out a little bit today, and then maybe even short it if it kind of started going even more. But right now, Ford still has a 20 break. So if it breaks through 20, first target, obviously, we'll try to take some out as it goes up. But realistically, I think if you're going to take this and you want to hold it, I think you're looking at a 20 quarter, something like that, for a decent long there on Ford if she breaks.
Yes, sir. And we'll go with, I don't know, we didn't have chicken today. We actually had pork, which, as predicted, was a little bit dry.
Yep.
Tasty, well-flavored, but it's still a little bit dry and overcooked. But I said I would scalp Rivian, so we're going to show you that I did. I got some out in front of 42. I got some out in front of 43. And now you're seeing Rivian spike up to 144, it looks like. So maybe I got out too early, but that's fine. And I just kind of feel with the momentum like this, going into the last hour, you know what? If not for the way that this traded in the last 10 or 15 minutes, I probably would be a little more comfortable just holding on to it and trying to take bigger wins. But it didn't actually breach that 140. And I thought 138 was support as well. And of course, like the second, look at this. It's like the timing of this is just ugly. Within 2 minutes, it's popped another $1.50. So hopefully someone hung on to this. Let me know. Come on. Somebody held on to that Rivian long. Please tell me that's actually true.
Maybe Jude. She's been trading it.
Yeah, Jude, tell me you hung on to some of that. I hope you did. Prague doesn't look like we got that. Obviously, we didn't get down to 420 here, but a higher low got put in. So I was looking for a little bit more of a dip before I would have bought it, but it looks like Prague has managed to catch a bid at 455, it looks like. So that's pretty good for Prague. I'm now flat on the session, looking for the next trade to be an SEV here today. Dev, there you go. You're still in it. Good. You know, look, there's a decent chance that I can go back to Rivian here. You know what's worth talking about. There's a decent chance if I zoom out for you. Like, there's all kinds of levels, but I mean, 148, that's not even VWAP. Like, that's pretty reasonable. If you look at the pop that it made, when it made the first bounce off 140, that took you all the way to 153. I didn't hold for that. I got out in front of 48. That's where the lower high was. So ultimately, that's a pretty reasonable target, and you can almost call it conservative, given how far the stock has moved. So, you know, good for you if you got it here. If you take $5, you take $5. If you take $7, no one ever went broke taking profit. So I'm glad someone held on to that. It doesn't really look that great. You got to zoom in. And when you scalp $1 or $2 or $2.50 on a $140 stock, a lot of times like that is a good return when you're day trading. But you got to keep in mind, Rivian is something that is not moving like a typical $100 million company or $140 stock. So you got to anticipate that, hey, you can take some bigger winners here. I obviously didn't. I gave you the reasons why, but they're out there for you if you want to take them.
Yeah, you know what? I want to bring up another stock here because I know you're seeing it now, but I was going to ask you, Neil, where the price was of this because I had absolutely no idea that Pfizer was up to 51 and taking out, again, new highs here. It's an unbelievable move for Pfizer just in the last, 2 weeks, man. Like, I remember when Pfizer was down here at 40.41, we were talking about that, and that would have been a great buy, as you can see down here at 40.41, 42, 43. It doesn't really matter the price, as right now you're back to the highs. So Pfizer just continues to work, man. I mean, it's so funny because I say this to all my friends, which isn't many, that, you can always look back at some of these obvious plays, right? And I mean, I think that, you look back and you say, is Tesla a new story? Like, why did we miss that, Tesla's up, 500% or more, something like that in the last 6 months. It's probably more than that. But, how did you miss that? And I think Pfizer's one of those other plays, man. Like, everyone's talking vaccines, booster shots, everything. Like, everything's Pfizer, BioNTech. I mean, Moderna's a different story. We could talk about that. But, Pfizer doesn't have some of the negative talk behind it that some of those other names do. And Pfizer just makes a move right back up to the upside. So for me, this is a time to cash out if I had some. But Pfizer continues to work and making new highs all the time. Unlike, Moderna, this is why, honestly, like.
Although today Moderna's up.
Okay.
I mean, the daily chart, though.
I mean, this is what we're talking about. I think that, whether or not Moderna's up today or not, like I said, a break of 250 here for Moderna, I think, is a buy spot for them. So we're getting very, very close. I mean, you break through that 200 period is 255. So I think that Moderna has to be bought at some point. And if that some point is today, I can't blame you. So I like Moderna to make a move back up. And just like Pfizer, I'll come back to you before we go. Just like Pfizer, there's SCV, by the way, breaking through 35. We'll see where it goes. But just like Pfizer, I think Moderna might surprise you to the upside. What do you want to go with, Neil?
No, I was just going to say, I talked about this the first couple of times and this time through when it got to 50, that when it's a dividend play, which it is for me, type of stock, I took some out in front of that 50 like I did the first time. And it's just more, I like to buy it on dips, and I like to take profit when it moves quite unlike its usual self. So it was a conservative play for me in the vaccine space because I liked them last year, and I'm going to stick with sort of taking profit every chance I get on it, and then trying to back in at better prices. Brendan, you have another name related here, Novavax.
You guys are talking about these vaccine names. Here's the one from today that got the biggest attention today. Still 9%. It was up 10 going back an hour or so. Just breaking some support here, guys. Heads up on Novavax. Some selling coming in. If you missed it this morning, so the Philippines granted them EUA, emergency use, and they also applied for EUA, or officially submitted the application for EUA in the U.S. So, Novavax, one we've discussed many times, but a big mover here today as well.
Yeah, there was a time you could fade that kind of news, but in this particular case, it was pretty clear with Novavax. And this was a miss this morning. I think we probably said that in the morning show, or at least amongst ourselves after, that this 175. When you look at something like this and you can see that kind of a consolidation with a bit of an upward trend, you should be looking for clean breakouts if you can get them. And in this particular case, this is 930, right? And it's sitting at 173.50. And then you get that 175 break, and I can zoom in and show you where it does not pull back to. And that's right, it doesn't really even pull back that harshly for you. If you look at right after the open, it holds well above that 170 mark. So, if you're taking the pre-market high break, that holds 170. If you're waiting for 175, that dip holds 172.5. So, both those breakouts look fantastic, and it was on positive news. A bit of a swing and there was no swing and miss. It was just a bit of a miss there. And you can't trade everything, right? Like, especially at the open. We've talked about this before. The worst days that I've had, I'm going to go back to SCV because the break, I took some out in front of 35.50, but the worst days I've had at the open is if I have like 5 or 6 positions at 930. And I find that's usually a recipe for disaster. So if you see us try to scale back at that time, that's why I'd rather miss on something than sort of overwhelm yourself and just make a bunch of bad executions because you can't really be focused at 9:30 when things are going crazy. I took out some, like the same thing we did at 33 break, at 35 in front of that first 50 cents. You're now seeing it pull back in. If it can hold here at about 33.75, I would look to maybe try to do a bit of an add. I want to see it bounce first, though. I don't want to dig in too deep. The higher it goes, I guess the tighter the stops that I like, or the less aggressive I would be trying to buy any dip.
Yeah, I'm going to say, like I said, I was going to wait for $1.50 either way, so I didn't have any offers out. So we'll wait to see if it's going to crack through 33.50. Then we will swing and miss on the last time. But this last time has been the least amount of shares that we've had, as you can't just keep on pushing, the button every single time. I mean, we did it, but you got to manage that risk. So 33.50, hey, comes down. It's still going to be my number one stock of the day, although it'll approach Rivian now to battle back and forth. forth if this does come back down. So that's going to be that name right there. SEV on watch. Ford bounces again off that level. Lucid back down to 52. Apple 54, like missed opportunities buying some of those bottoms on Apple. AMD still on a nice little run there as well. And then another interesting name here, Prog. So today we basically are flat on Prog, which is why we're not calling this one a losing trade. It's not. You know, we're back to those levels. That's somewhat interesting from yesterday. Progenity. Maybe I can use a 20-minute chart so I don't have to keep zooming back and forth here. But this is where it was yesterday. You know what? I should take a 1 minute just to show you. Here it is yesterday where we bounced around 420 or so, and then the upside, you know, VWAP bounced right there, 450, came in 480, sort of was protected here in the afternoon. So this is yesterday. Those are those levels right now, 470 and change. And now you move to today, and you're sort of bouncing around this 470 one more time. So this could be a name that's looked at here, Progenity, for a nice little bit of a longer opportunity as we wait for SEV to try to do something. A quick check back in on AMD as we bounce off of one more time. I mean, a good trade today, but a monster move down as the NASDAQ pulled back midday, man. We were cruising on the NASDAQ. It pulled down in a big pullback here for AMD. And again, making some nice highs here at 152.50. You know, for me, right now, 40 minutes left in the 50 minutes left in the day, 40 minutes before imbalances. If we can get back into this area, we'll take it. But for right now, we're just going to chill out on an AMD trade. Yeah,
and Goldman, I see you there. And I think it was you that's been asking about Airbnb. Oh, good level. I'm going to assume that you're probably interested in this previous breakout that it had, this 198 that you can see on the 15-minute. It just dipped down, it crashed through 200, dipped and held this 190 to 198.36. So, man, if I had caught that the first time, yeah, that's not that unreasonable. If you got that long there, it makes some sense to me. I mean, like the same way that I would play, or I guess we did play Rivian, is what I would do here. It's like short, shallow scalp trades and then trying to hold for a bigger move. Ultimately, you can't get away from the fact that, you know, when you, with case numbers not looking good in Europe and expecting some of that to come over here, you're just having the entire travel and leisure just get absolutely, you know, sort of shellacked across the board here today. And I think that's one of those themes that sometimes it can get a little bit overdone if you like something in the long term. For the day trade anyways, that 198 level makes a little bit of sense. For the long term, the issue with Airbnb is that you're still, I mean, like Airbnb, like absolutely just has been crushing since that breakout at about 175, 180. And you're really, this is not that big of a pullback, and it is off those highs at 220 that you are pulling back from. So I kind of think your support is on the longer term about another $10 down from here. But otherwise, for the day trade, if you caught that bounce, which it's now $1, you know, $1.50 away from it, I wouldn't be chasing it. But if you did catch it, that looks pretty solid. I like that higher time frame look. You always want to make sure you, when in doubt, zoom out. I know we look at minute charts to show you guys day trades, but that doesn't tell you the whole picture. All you see is a stock falling like an absolute rock, a little bit of a capitulation style bottom, but then you know what? It looked like it did that here and here and here, but none of those levels coincided with previous resistance on the, everything okay over there? Previous resistance on the 15-minute chart.
She got more flowers? Come on.
More?
Man, that dude's trying hard, bro. Miss V got more flowers today. I think Prad just trashed them. No.
Oh, Prad.
I'm joking, Prad.
Fell by themselves.
Prad, yeah, sure they fell by themselves.
You know flowers fall by themselves.
Don't worry, Prad. We all got you on that one. Yeah. So, but okay. We'll just move on. Sometimes, like I said, man, too much fun around here sometimes. But
like there's nothing even scripted. Like they just randomly, really, Prad.
They did. Trust me.
He smacked the.
Yeah. So we'll go back over to Brandon. What's up, Brandon?
Best part is, guys, the flowers, if you see them, are the same color as her hair. So that's just taking it to an entire different level. But who is that? Is that?
Damn, Prad.
Oh, there's Prad.
Damn. Damn.
Now
son.
He's really cleaning it up.
Why you got your jacket on, bro?
Come on, Prad.
Oh, it came from the store.
Yeah, you had to get a hammer to break
so you can't hear that because, all right, let's get off Prad, guys. Who cares? Okay, so obviously Prad's cleaning up. So I got to say good job on that one, Prad. I mean, obviously he's cleaning up. So that's a good one there. Thanks, Prad, for that. You know, now, so he said he came back from the store. So now I know exactly what happened. Dude went to the store, bought something for Valeria, came back, noticed that there was a better gift there, the flowers, and then he's like, you know what, screw this, I'm taking down these flowers. And then, no, obviously we're just playing around.
He bought a Pez dispenser and was like, this doesn't look good enough.
Mr. Steal Your Girl back there, not having too much success. Okay, just to notice here, Disney. So You know, Disney, I don't know what happened today, but down to 156. Like, I don't know what I was doing or where I was today. Maybe I was pre-ordering flowers from Ms. V or something. But 156.80, like, okay. That should have been bought, man. I didn't think Disney would dip this far. I'm waiting to get into some Disney. I've been giving it the 3-day rule since earnings. That would be now or the last couple days. It kept extending down here, and we kept letting it go. But that 156, like, I cannot believe. You want to talk about some people emailing me, messaging me, tweeting me, whatever you call those things, and asking about some long-term ideas. Honestly, like, Disney should be a good name that a lot of you are looking forward to owning, having, whatever. I like Disney right here, and I think that there's absolutely nothing wrong with the company. It's just, you know, waiting for the reopen. We talked about how they had Shanghai, China shut down there for, I don't know, a day or so, as they did 30,000 swabs for tests. But anyways, Disney Plus, there's a lot working for Disney. It just continues to fall down. Maybe it's not time to buy, but that 156 is pretty interesting to me. And then if we're going to look at a trade right now on Disney, this is the minute chart. I don't know. We may try to fade this thing, man. 158.50 right here, looking like it back to day's high, 158.50. So they make that bottom. I have no idea what this huge monster spike in volume was right there at midday. Doesn't seem to affect the stock, but a nice move back up here for Disney and starting to go, man. Maybe we should be long instead of short on this, Dave. Let's see if we get a pullback to 158 and we'll test the long on this.
Okay, so Tony Scyther, is that true? Did they extend Kathleen Kennedy's contract for 3 more years? Oh, goodness.
Who the hell is Kathleen Kennedy?
She's the person that mucked up all the Star Wars. Like, you know how no one likes the new Star Wars movies?
Okay.
She was behind that new direction, which as probably one of the larger Star Wars fans out there, I will tend to agree with that statement. Not done a fantastic job with that franchise, but it is what it is. Lucid and Rivian both moving back to the upside here, so breaking that 53 where I took out my shares and then heading maybe up to VWAP, and Rivian as well, catching a bit of a bid. It's a minor concern here. Again, I got this too early as well. As it's back to 148. A minor concern, I think, for SEV, because a lot of the timing of SEV getting that big run was when you had, I guess, money coming out of Lucid and Rivian, and now that these are bouncing late day here, you know, I am concerned whether SEV is going to run out of, so I guess run out of juice. Ultimately, it's not going to change too much because if it breaks 33.50, I got the dip buy in front of it. I'm just going to get out anyways. But if you're in it and you haven't taken any profit, I would be at least a little bit concerned that when you get the money going into or getting back into these on the short term, that the newest kid on the block, even if it is the smaller kid, might run into steam and pull back a little bit here. Brendo?
One we were looking at this morning, guys, this SPI Energy just popping back up here, back to that kind of 790 areas where I was looking way up here this morning. But 750 ends up being the top during the midday. So volume coming back in here for SPI.
Aside right now because we are in a new position and it's going to be Roblox as that's come back in a little bit here, and we just noticed that it defended VWAP, so we're taking it a little bit late on the VWAP push because again we didn't see it, and we did see it. We do see it now, so I can see clearly now. And we'll wait to see here what happens through 122 and change on Roblox. Still looking at this, if it drops down like 121.50, so we'll try to average into this. We'll see if Roblox has a move back to the upside right now as we're getting ready to rock and roll here on Roblox. So that's another name that we have, and we're going to see. Yeah, CEI is another mover. SEV didn't stop us out or me out yet, so. We're waiting for that 33.50. Came very, very close. We'll see if SUV, I said that this morning too. We'll see if SEV does want to give that to. I mean, look, we could get out right now for the dollar hit. We've taken more than $1. Like, that's an $8 winner or whatever it was. We've taken more than $1 on this name numerous times, right? And so here we go, ready to rock and roll with SEV. I like this for a long. Obviously, we're already in it. We'll see if it takes out this 35.50. And then after that, we'll go higher and higher and higher, hopefully, on SEV.
Like the D'Angelo's.
Yes, exactly. And Roblox, just checking back in. I do have some lower bids here just to give you guys an idea. 122.60. We're waiting for another bid. And then remember where we're going to drop this out if it does break below 121.50 for Roblox in case the market absolutely turns here.
Just because we haven't even looked at this is what it looks like, the Scion, their vehicle. I don't know. It looks just like it's a Chevy something. What's the, is the Echo?
Who's making that? This company?
This is the Scion. This
I'm
is
selling
this
this.
is the one we're holding along right now.
Yeah, I'm selling
this is
this.
the all. I guess there's like yeah, but there's like solar panels in here. I guess look, at the end of the day, that's new tech, and like how good is it?
Is
like,
that new tech?
Well,
I don't know.
the idea that you would add a substantial amount of, I guess,
It's probably cheap, right?
range. Yeah, it's going to be likely a very cheap car, and it's got to be smaller because it's going to add substantial range to the vehicle by putting solar panels on it. That's kind of a new concept there. So I guess I'm not surprised that it's not exactly a looker, but
Yeah.
very practical vehicle. I still think that could be popular in certain places.
Look what's happening. So first, come over here.
What is going?
This is being. Look at this. You want to talk
that's
about
not
manipulation? Could somebody phone the SEC right now? Like someone is just layering orders, trying to keep this thing down. You're not going to see it here, but you see it down. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
If we did
That's
that?
like that's legal. Like really?
Well,
look at this. Look at this. That's not legal. This is going to be one person making these putting all of these orders here one time. Either the algo is broken,
Fill 'em.
or I don't even think it even matters if they get filled. Like, it's not that many shares, but it's just like, what the hell's going on? Like, you shouldn't be allowed. That's called stacking orders there. Now, sure, there it is again.
No, they're not taking fills either.
Right.
I know
They're
what they're doing.
canceling. They're trying to influence this thing on the way down. Get the SEC on the phone, Rob.
And you know what they can do too is like if they have a good auto cancel, then what they can do is they can stick like a hidden order in the midpoint, right? And then if that order fills, they can cancel that offer. And if it's fast enough, what'll end up happening is they have no threat of getting filled at the displayed bid because they're sitting and another one gets filled before it. So and that can be filled for like 10 shares or 5 shares with all that risk. And you think they're sitting out there exposing themselves, but really because they're quick, they can get away with it.
Look at this, man. I mean, I'm glad we're able to show this to you.
You know who'd
guys
call us
live.
if we did that?
Live right now on the show. I mean, we're able to show this to you. That's very, very sketchy. I mean, I don't like anything that's happening right there. And honestly, it's influencing the stock to make the stock go down. It's all these dark pool prints. They're stacking the bids or the offers in this situation to make it look like there's actually more liquidity there than there really is. And this is called spoofing. So you guys are 100% right. Look, it doesn't matter if I fill them. I could fill all these guys right now. The buying power I have is ends with an M. Like it does, or starts with an M. But we could take this out. But we're not going to. I mean, there's no point right now to take this out because he's not moving. Like, what are you going to do? Fill the guy for 1,000 shares? I mean, as soon as he gets one fill, he's going to pull all the rest. That's how spoofing works, believe me. We've seen this happen numerous times.
I was going to take some out in front of.
Get out.
I took some out in front of 35, but I was planning to do that already. I did it on that last spike, and then those orders started coming in. I still think it has a chance to get through the top.
So are you flat on this now?
No, I still have it to the long side, but I wanted to cover some.
Here it goes.
Because I bought the dip. And again,
here it goes.
You can adjust. One of the things you can do there is just absolutely ignore it if you'd like to, or like if you were going to take profit, you would take a small piece out and then hold the rest because it can still take out the top. Now, oddly enough, as we're breaking back out here, what ended up happening in Rivian? Well, I mean, Rivian pulled back off 148. I wasn't really looking at Lucid, but I'm going to make the assumption that Lucid pulled back a bit as well. So there's a small correlation going on between these names, which I think is worth observing, certainly. By the way, Prague. I never know if I want to say Progenity or just say Prague. But anyways, it just turned right at $5. So I don't know what was there at 5 even, but it got to $4.99 and ran away. So there's always a chance that maybe there's an offer at $5. If it gets there again, or I can actually see anything there, I'll let you guys know. I can't see anything depth of book that's sizable sitting at 5 even, but it's interesting that on the march back upside, Prague stalled at exactly $5. Brendo?
RMBS just popping up here, guys, at day highs. This is also all-time highs for little semiconductor. Rambus Incorporated. Heads up, looks like they had some executive changes announced today, but big volume just coming in here the past little while. Just went 24.5 up to 25.5 for RMBS.
All right, another good name to look at here as we get ready to 320 right now. So we're getting closer and closer to those imbalances coming out. But we hit that, man. We'll hit the cowbell. Wake up, America, Canada, wherever you are. Shout out to everybody that's watching. But oops, Brittany. Look, ever since Brittany's been freed, I think we just keep doing it again and again and again because here's Roblox one more time, guys. Here's a 75-cent winner for you. Just take it out right now. We'll see. Maybe we just take this out and we'll see. But there's Roblox right there. We called that long. I know there's a lot of you that trade this name. So Roblox, yeah, for the win one more time. Upside. I think we could maybe we'll just take this out on 124 and see where we go from there, because this is just honestly all we're trying to do right now is line up the cash. The SEV is going to be a good trade for us. Hopefully moving forward, we'll see if they can hold that. But you know what? Right now it's kind of resisting. Let's see if this goes up. It's not at 124. I do have an offer at 124.20 right now, but looks like it's resisting a little bit at 124. But we'll see if it continues to move up. I mean, here's $1 now for you on Roblox. So I think we should probably just wind up taking this because yeah, we're happy with it. So we'll take it, and there it is right there. Bang! That's it right there. We're smoking today, man. There's another win for us on Roblox. Take it for what it's worth, but you can put it on the board, and there's another one right there on Roblox for you. So hey, we're taking them all, man, and we're making that cash. We're at the highest spot I've been at all day right now. We're cruising, man. We're almost at 3 times daily go. Well, 2.5 times right now. We'll see if we can get up there, but a smoking day for us. I hope you're having the same success over there, guys.
And just watching that Airbnb, and thank you guys for pointing this one out, under a lot of pressure, obviously. It's coming right back in, failed that 200 level, and then approaching this 198. If we can bounce off 198 and we're not staring the face of the imbalances coming through, which I kind of want to avoid today after yesterday, being stuck in anything that I think could have one. I'd watch that Airbnb off 198. That's the only level I'm going to like. I am still trying to hold for that 36 level on SEV here. We did buy the dip in front of that 33.50, took some out of 35, and now looking for that 36, Bang. Which is right on the offer right here, right now. I'm at 96. Just got the fill there. So you've gotten multiple breaks on this stock. You got the 33 break. You got the 35 break. I still think if I see a 4 and a 0, I'm likely to try my first short. I'm not forced to do what I did, pay for the shorts. And I pay for shorts every single time there's an IPO. Just the nature of the trade. If you cannot, in our system, if you don't have the shorts, your ability to put orders out and for take profit and have stops is impeded a little bit. So I like to have them in the back pocket. I'm not using it till I see $40 though. And even then, I might not like what I see when it gets there.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else to do here today. Other than use more shares. I mean, every single day we are having this kind of success, man. And I mean, there it is right there, SEV, it's now $1.50 in the money, where we gave ourselves $1.50 worth of risk. So there you go, up to 36.50. We did take a piece out at 36 after having to hold it through. So now we'll hold one more piece one more time. We are absolutely just going nuts right now on our positions, man. This has been a monster day. November's just been an epic month for me. I hope it's been great for you guys as well. And we're gonna hopefully this continues, man. This is the thing, we're forced to take days off. I've argued that I don't want to take any days off. So I joked about this, and I'm not actually joking. When my day off is, you may see me right back there on this, or I may just come in and just whatever on my day off, because this has been the way this market's been. We don't have any red days this month, and I don't even know if we had a red day in October. So, I mean, this has just been an absolutely monster run for us. So we'll just keep it going, and hopefully you guys can enjoy the victories with me. And, here's Roblox. We bought that, boom, right up there. I can review all the trades here today. You can see them all on the bottom, all the trades that we have on board. I mean, AMD, that's not a loser, right? That's a big one. There, Lucid, I mean, that's big. It could have been bigger, but nice trade there for Lucid. This is a name that, we washed these trades. Obviously, we would have wanted it to go higher, but we took a risk on Prague there. That's a flat trade. The one negative trade that we have on board here today is PayPal. I do this trade again, probably do this tomorrow, hopefully have little different results there. Lucid, we just talked about Roblox right there. I don't have to tell you about Rivian. This short was right there, and boom, boom, boom. Big time trading on Rivian today. And then, how about Target, guys? How about Target? Look at this buy. 252 on Target, right? Given on the sticky note, not only am I putting these trades on, but we're also putting them on board right in front of you. And then look at that out. We got out of Target, and again, I think this was during the show, wasn't it? What time was this? Yeah, 10:18. So we got out on Target right here, 254.70 off of this long 252.30. So boom, boom, boom. That's $3 right there. And as you could see, Target destroyed as well. So, I mean, the story just keeps on going. We're going to be here for you hopefully every day, and we're just going to watch this SEV. I may just take this out if it cracks back below. I just don't want to have a blemish here today. If this does come below 35, I guess we could take this out. If it cracks below 35, let's give it to Yeah, why not? Let's just take this out if it gets below 35 and we'll call it a day. So 35, we'll get out on this name. It's $1.30 in the money right now, and that's just what we're used to. So a big day here. I hope you guys are having another one.
Two names that I know you guys are looking at. One that was from early, and apologies for not getting to it. BKKT. I'm going to get to CEI because it's moving as well. BKK backed. It's not a good look. It's about as ugly. I don't know why it's not filling in the move to 50 on my 15-minute chart, but trust me, it was up there just a couple of weeks ago, and we were trading it at that price. Now you're double bottoming at 18. So if you're looking for this thing to finally put in a bit of a bottom, it's got a double bottom right at 1865. This is a good look, especially if it can gap up tomorrow. You have an obvious level of support the first time it's going to put in a double bottom like this. But I think more interesting right now going into the close is CEI. It just broke 150, a level that we were talking about this morning, that 150 level. It just broke it and then slammed back down. So it got to about 51, 52. Right now it looks like a bit of a failed break. If you go to the higher time frame, I was talking about the 50 period being potential resistance at $1.65. Looks like it's not even testing that. A bit of a failed break here on CEI through 150. A lot of times what I like to do is take like 48, 49 if I can, give it a couple of pennies, risk to 51 or 52, and then see if you can get it. This stock does a ridiculous amount of volume. You can't get enamored by the levels here. Oops, on level 2. At the end of the day, it's a $1.50 stock, so you're going to see thick levels. So you'll see size on the bid or offer, but you can't say, oh, look at how much is on the offer. It can't go higher. How much is on the bid? It can't go lower. Forget about that. It's going to chew through all these. It's done 250 million shares on the session, and that's not even a lot. We've seen CEI do way more than that. So a bit of a failed break through 150. If it can get through 51, I think 65 is the next level up. I'm going to short it at 49 if I can get it.
I just want to, okay, so you're low on CEI, but I know you were talking about it, Neil, SEV, because right now you're at 38.
It's not there yet.
It's not there yet. No, I mean, right now we have that $2.30 in the money, and I do have an offer at $39.40. So if $39.40 can come in, then we talk about getting that out, but it just touched out at 38. I may just take this at 38, but I mean, it just keeps on motoring to the upside. You know what? I'm going to cancel that $39.40. Maybe it will continue to go, and we'll make moves there. But I mean, this is why, man. We talk about it all the time, and we talk about our profits, we talk about our mistakes, our wins, our losses, everything. And then when I say that comment about no red months, part of it is because you get these outs, man. When we take hits on stock, they tend to be minimal, which is why I get peed off when I start averaging into something and I have to get smoked on the out, because that's not the normal way that I trade, and I can't be proud when that stuff happens. But right now, SEV making moves to the upside, and right now I'm changing my out again. I'm going to put it to 36 right now. So we'll put an offer at 36. If we get out at 36, we'll take it. But this is what I mean. We're allowing the stock to go up to the upside here so we can enjoy these moonshots at the same time, capture some profit if and when the stock continues to fall down. If it does fall down, it's not continuing to fall down. If it does come back in, so a $2 winner will turn into a $1 winner real fast, but you got to take those profits, guys.
Okay, so Nvidia does. This is. If this was at 9:30 or this was at 9:45, I'd already be in Nvidia long. We talked about 291, and when we're looking at the 15-minute chart, if things got out of hand going into earnings, and again, this is your 15-minute, you can kind of see this 290. It's not really 290. It is 291, where we've just hit on an absolute dime. Whoops, that's not split adjusted the daily chart, so a bit of a deceiving thing. If you look at it from a higher time frame, you're going to think that's a big gap to be filled in. You would be somewhat right. But 291 is a significant support level. If we can hold here, we still have about 20 minutes until the imbalances come out, so not a bad time to be able to get into it. I didn't see it, so I didn't catch the move off 91. Thank you, guys. And this is why it's the best community out there, because this is one I was looking at for this specific price when this was happening in the morning, and I was ready to catch it if it fell any further. It just never did. And then now you're getting to test that level. It's not as good, in my opinion, when you're trying to bottom pick. You have a lot more flexibility as a day trader if you catch a bottom in the first hour and a half of the day, because there's the rest of the day to recover and there's more time to make a move. You get it now, there's 25 minutes until the close when you have to be flat. So you're really trying to scalp it. That's why you don't chase something if it's already bounced off your level. But if you got it here, 91 is significant support. Always zoom out. You can do that yourself, but I just wanted to show you guys. And looks like I don't have to short the stock. And I don't know, I feel like I haven't shorted as many things today. There just weren't as many setups, other than Rivian and then a few others at the open. There hasn't been much in the afternoon that I've loved. I guess if you just took 38 blindly as an even number, you would have won, but then that wouldn't have worked at 37, and that wouldn't have worked at 36. So, I was waiting for 40, and I think it's a good enough reason. I'm not going to force trades for the sake of doing it. I'm not going to do it just to do it, like Charlie Murphy said. No, it wasn't Charlie Murphy.
No.
It was Chappelle's Prince. I'm not gonna.
Okay. I was gonna say.
Well, in the Rick James one. Well, you know what I'm saying. I'm not just gonna do it to do it. I'm not gonna. What am I gonna grind on someone's couch?
Players ball?
I got better sense than that.
Was it part of the players ball? Okay, right here. We'll just and again, I'll show you. I know Jude, you just mentioned there, Roblox flushing. Again, 99 problems. Roblox ain't one because we out. But right now, you can see right here. Again, maybe I do have paper hands. Okay, it's how I trade. But at the same time, look at this level. If I did have a little bit more diamond hand in me, I guess, then I would have held for this 124. This is the level I gave to everybody, so it still gave you an out right there. And again, it's not that I'm not giving these to you. It's not that I'm proud to give you these levels. I'm just showing them to you so that when you're in again and when you're. I mean, the best part about this. We talk about our community all the time, but it's like when people say, I just started watching this show and I'm up 30% over the last X amount of days, months, weeks, years, whatever. Like, that's what it's about. It's about finding your way, figuring out how we trade. Does that suit your trading style? And then where do we go from there? And then how do you maximize all of said profits, right? And it's just like I'm giving you this. I don't want to lose on this trade. This breaks through 35, and we will get out of SEV. That hasn't happened yet, so we're still in it, right? And so there's those kind of trades. And now you're trying to make out new highs. You could take this $1.50 right here. Right, that's not a horrible spot. We've given you the out, and you can sort of massage the trade as you see fit. I'm going to wait to see if we take out the high again. And if it doesn't, then we're going to go back to 35 and get out. And then we'll say, oh, well, we only made $1 on this piece and we got flat on the other piece. So we'll see how we go on this last piece. But right now, SEV still my number one stock, followed by Rivian. Roblox just made a move, up there on the list as we take $1 on that. AMD is a good one for us today. And I mean, Target, we forgot all about that, as that's been a beautiful trade off that 252 sticky note bottom that we did talk about. So all is well here, man. Apple 154.
And so here's another one here. It finally, it's happened. It kind of said it would happen a while ago, but Virgin Galactic broke that $18 level. It hasn't gone far. It's at $17.75, but I think now it could get acceleration. So I'll be looking at this one for, potential shorts down into this like 14 or 15 level, not swing, but on the day trade each day until we get down back to this cluster that it sat at in May. The May low actually sits at just about $14 or so. I'm not sure that it goes there right away, but certainly that 14 to 16, I think that's the target area to pick some of these up for more in the long term. And again, I've been waiting for 18 to breach. Oddly enough, like I said, I thought this was happening 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then it's just taken some time for it to happen. But there's not a lot of catalyst for this until you get into next year, and that's where we can afford to be patient. But I just saw it on my quote board, and I've been waiting to see a number that started with 17 in front of this stock, and now we see it. Brendo?
Another one, guys, moving to the downside here today. Rover. I didn't even realize this was a public company, but once I started reading this, I remember when this de-SPACed. So this was a former SPAC that has now taken over this ROVR. I'll show you the chart here in a sec, but there was an 11 million share secondary offering. The only reason I know this is because I've used this app before. It's like Uber for your dog, essentially. ROVR down 15% on an offering. There was a volume spike there through 12 for Rover.
So just honestly, I don't have a dog. Obviously, you guys know everyone on the team basically is our dog owners, but me. So Brendan, you got to explain this to me. Like, you say Uber for your dog. I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's daycare. So people can sign up. They get screened, obviously, to look after your dog. So you go on the app, you find someone near you who's willing to look after your dog, and then you go and meet them. Obviously, make sure everything's fine, and then proceed through the app. So everything's on the app. You pay for the app. You find the people on the app. It's a great idea.
It's an interesting concept. Well, I would say watch out. I think I told you the story of the friend of Sean and I. Who actually had to do some digging on his dog walker because he actually did some covert action and found out that they were not walking the dog. They were just sort of like collecting all the dogs and then just sort of sitting there on a bench, and then the dogs weren't getting any exercise. I'm like, that's me. That's like I'm not even going to pretend that I'm a dog owner, but trust me, that would peeve me, and that does peeve me. But anyway, that's just kind of anecdotal. But an interesting move certainly on this stock here today. Not a lot of volume on it though, which you want to be careful. And sometimes when you see things fall like this, the story is the lack of volume or liquidity because if it can't catch a bid. If I see level twos like this and I see volume under 1 million shares, that's like a no-go for day trade bottom picking. because it's just your risk to reward isn't that great. Your slippage when a level breaks can be ugly, and there's no way to really mask it. When you see, like if we're looking like at Rivian today, or it doesn't even matter, like AMD, Palantir, it doesn't, Neo, all these types of stocks, you have a certain foundation of liquidity that when it falls, there are people that want to buy it because it's attractive for long-term holds, got some momentum behind it. The other thing too is when you look at that level 2, buyers will step up, whether they're in the dark, whether they're iceberg orders, you know it's going to be there, and it's very unlikely that it'll run out of liquidity to the extent that something like that Rover, and again, I don't really know much about the company, but when I look at that liquidity, it's not very good. For a day trader, that's not where you look to pick bottoms. You'll see me avoid trading a stock that I own sometimes like Lemonade or Silvergate because they're not very liquid. And it can be dangerous, especially at the open trading those stocks. Always tread lightly. Anyways, just noticed that when I popped up to level 2 there. That SEV, yeah, you know what? So sometimes you pay for the short, and I'll be happy with myself that I did not force the short trade here. There was one time that I tried to get it short, and that was when it was like the 1, 2, third time it halted to the upside. It then failed to get through failed to hold a fresh high, and I tried to short it back to 30. I did not chase it. That would have been probably a good trade, I suppose, if I had chased it, but I decided not to. And now I'm not going to force it as well. We're going to run out of time likely to get a move to 40, although we're not there yet. Certainly, it's been an unbelievable debut for this name, and you can't say enough. 150%, but let's keep in mind this is all about momentum here. Let's not pretend that it's anything but EV space is hot. Here's a different type of name and a tiny IPO. And that's part of the reason too. Lack of liquidity because it's a tiny IPO means it can go parabolic. We're probably still talking about this tomorrow as well.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're $2 in the money on SEV, so that's going to be a good one. Near approaching near highs one more time. Ethereum starting to go one more time off the bottom, 42.20, up a little bit, just tick, 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 trying to make moves. Here, if you drop it down to a 3-minute chart, you can see the level that I was going to talk about, 42.70. So if we could take that out, could be new day highs here for Ethereum, and especially if we take out that 43.50, you could see Bitcoin, Ethereum right now flat on the day, Bitcoin up that 2% or so. And again, just the day depends on what you consider a day, as crypto's open 24 hours. And I just want to, there it goes. Let's go SEV. Like, let's go right now. Like, you want to talk about, like, right there, boom. We are still long this name, man. And SEV saying, hold my beer. There he goes. The funny thing is, I think they actually worked really hard to make that. So that was a good one there. Thank you, guys.
Honestly, it was a lot of work.
Yeah, that was a good one. Thank you for that. I don't know if it was or not. But there you go.
Well, they put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah.
Right, guys?
Yeah, sure they did. Yep, they did. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, great one. Yeah, a lot of effort doing that. I don't know what the effort happening right now as we chill out here. I do like we got a lumberjack there, Eric, beside you there. So twinning right now.
And by the way, I mean the hair, the facial hair too. Like it's.
There we go. Yeah.
You guys should be side by. You gotta do a side by side.
Yeah, we are brothers, so it's all good on that one. And a lot of people say we look like. Someone said I look Mexican. Like I was talking about Mexico versus Canada yesterday in the CONCACAF, and shout out to Canada, obviously a 2-1 win, a big one there. It's a funny story because when we were in Puerto Vallarta as a child and we did a family trip, everyone started talking to my father in Spanish. Obviously, he's born and raised, raised here, but born in Italy, and he doesn't speak a lick of Spanish, but he had on his hat and everything. It looked like we were traveling around the town. Everyone was like, thinking that he knew everything, and he was like, what? Anyways, okay, it's funny story. Maybe it's not funny, but okay. Maybe it happens. Yeah. Do we get out of this on a 37 break? I don't know. We were waiting for this. We're $2 in the money right now on SEV. It's still making moves to the upside. So I think there is, some potential here to take out that 38, especially as we're getting close to the end of the day. And if anyone wants to take a shot at this name, they're going to have to be long into it tomorrow, as I don't think people are going to be able to short this thing like we are here at Day Trade the World. So that's a big advantage that we have. And I'm going to use that rhetoric maybe to hold this long, thinking there might be some bump ups. We saw what happened to Rivian the last couple days off IPO, obviously not today, but this could spike tomorrow to 50, and we'll wait to see. We have to be flat at the end of the day, so maybe I'll hold this slightly after 4 if it's bumping, but generally speaking, the move's going to happen in the AM anyways. So 37 and change, take that out. We'll see if it takes out 38, man. But wow, long there, long here, long again. SEV for the win today for me.
And Luca is asking about DraftKings. All I will say about this is, not till it gets to like the mid 30s. I think you do have support in the stock, and it's probably worth it. I mean, if you're holding the bag in it, then you're doing it for the long term, where I think there's probably going to be a rebound. I dumped what pen shares I ended up getting for different reasons, I suppose. I didn't like the controversy that they got themselves into, obviously. But the downward trend is pretty clean, and this is just a case of, why not just wait it out and be a bit patient? I think the good thing about the EV run here is it's taking so much of that extra retail money is going into the EV names, and then you can sort of wait for that to cool down, then hold off on anything that was sexy before, which has been under pressure. Let's wait until some of these other ones cool down with their volume and momentum, and then maybe that'll be the time that you can get something in, something like a DraftKings, because the attention is it's elsewhere for momentum stocks, and obviously you can see that with the chips. Well, at one point it was the metaverse as well, but now it's surely squarely, as you can see today, in the EV and clean energy names, because you could go look at ChargePoint, you can go look at Plug Power, you can go look at, I don't know, now I'm blanking on a couple of the other ones, but certainly, Blink, that's the other one we're going to talk about, that people have been talking about. So you got to understand that these things do work in cycles, and right now there's just not a heck of a lot of attention positively for a DraftKings, and you might need some of the money to come out of these other names.
Oh God, you're talking about DraftKings? Yeah.
Well, Luca asked about it, so I mean.
No, good one. I was like saying, oh my God, not DraftKings. That's been a disaster. That was a good call for us to get out of that one. We've been right on DraftKings, and we're going to continue to be right, because I'm going to be a buyer of that near $33, $34. I'll tweet it out. I'll be here for you on that as well. When that comes through, Disney, I said already, possibly a good buy right now. I'm not going to do it. Disney's already a huge position of mine. Nike's been a monster for me at 145. Nucor as well, a nice move off the bottom. And then of course we all know that I bought Roblox at 77. Okay, Nvidia right now. Wow. Okay, a nice little dump here into earnings tonight. Buy it. I mean, I don't know what Nvidia is going to say that's going to turn earnings negative. Like why, this thing would be down tomorrow. I don't think they're going to say about any problems with anything really. I saw Jepsen Wong on his keynote speech. I think it was last week or earlier on this. What day is it today? Wednesday? No, I think it was last week. And they're doing everything, man. New chips. He's talking about Omniverse, not Metaverse. And I mean, they have the highest performing chips out there. So GPUs, things like that. And wow, I mean, I don't know what's happening here. They're cracking right now.
I think
I think it's going to be profit taking, but this is too much. Like
it's lower highs. I mean,
there's no way. Yeah, I know. Yeah, if you look at the chart here quickly, a nice high of 320, but back in right now. This is I almost want to buy this now on Nvidia, but it's into earnings, so you could wait for it. Maybe you get a dip down into 270, something like that. I don't know. If the earnings come right at 4, we could be able to watch it. But Brendan, anything on this or anything?
Yeah, not seeing anything in the chips, guys, but I mean, those have been super weak today. Little one, though, just popping up here. Com Sovereign Holdings. I'll show you the chart here in a second, which is a little communication stock. Just heads up, 54 million on the float, doing this right now. So 120 to 150 on heavy volume. Something called Litchfield Hills Research issuing a updated positive research report on this company with a $10 price target. So I guess they're long at 1, guys.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I just love to read about where they get their $10 from, but at the end of the day, we're gonna you put it on the radar because it's put in a move, and ultimately the other thing about it is it's kind of like you kind of catch it on a pseudo day one. It's not really a day one move tomorrow, but it's kind of a day one move, and you get all the metrics that are right, which is finding for a penny stock anyways, or small cap. I guess it's not a penny stock; it's above $1. But it has a bottom at $1. It's breaking your 50 period, which also gives the psychological level right at that 150. So that's going to be in play as well. You want to see what happens here, and certainly in the aftermarket, because I always feel like if it runs up too far in the aftermarket, then puts it another gigantic gap, then likely when you come in the next day, you're going to get some selling action in the pre-market because it's too much of an impetus to take profit. But still down here, I mean, for the people you're absolutely at best. On the short term, if you weren't digging into this the whole way down, you're at best realistically long in the 130s, right? So if it opens up at 150, I don't think there's a ton of profit taking in that case. If it opens up at 170, it might be some there, but as long as we're down here, there probably is an opportunity tomorrow for this COM. So I'm putting it on the radar, only because it's kind of like a day one sort of thing. Yeah, I'm not going to get the short on SEV. Just 40, and again, there's nothing scientific about it. It's just 40 because 40 is a round number, and it went from 20 as the open price, and that would have been a clean double up. So I kind of like those as metrics, because I think when people take profit on a parabolic mover, you're basically shooting it. Like if you had this one and you got the issue price at 15, or just bought it at the open at 20, which would have been a nice hold, obviously. I think you start grasping at straws as to where you're going to get out, because you're just guessing. No one can actually value this thing, and $40 is a nice round number if it hadn't gotten there. Clearly, it's not going to, with only 10 minutes left.
Yeah, so SEV dumping there. The imbalances, please. Yes, sir.
Well, they're not out yet.
Anis. I almost said that the wrong way. They're ANIS, okay? Anis. Look, there we go. So we, as planned, man, this is how you stay out of trouble. Took $1 there, lost on that one, and just same price out at that 35. It's going to look bad now because you're at 35.63. We obviously could have taken some profit there, but I can't predict that this thing's going to stop. The only thing I would have said there is, and if we had more time in the day, I would have done this. But, when you see that break, when it hits your level and then bounces right back up, you just mark, and I don't know if I would have marketed it on this, but spread a little bit too large there. But you could buy it back there on that failed break and then watch it just continue to climb up. That only happened to about 88, 89 there. So although we get out at 35, you could have had that $1 or so back in on a retracement back. On SEV. So, wow, man, I'm pretty exhausted here today. A good trade on SEV, obviously. We had both of these for you here live on the show. I mean, that 31 break is what we started the show with. So 31 break up to 38. I mean, if you just held that, you're pretty cash money, and then we get a little bit greedy there at the end. Although, even though we were greedy, we still made $3 on that if we would have taken it out at the high, which we didn't. So we did not make $3. Okay, NVIDIA back down. I mean, remember what, I was just saying I would buy this name down here at 288. Didn't. Back to 292 right now. So that would have been a nice $3 there if anyone did that. Someone said they bought 200K of NVIDIA. So, okay. You are obviously hoping for a big move in NVIDIA. If I just bought 200K of NVIDIA, I know I'm even taking some out right now. That's just my mentality.
Like just now?
There. Yeah, why not, man? If I had 200K.
No, I didn't see it in the chat, that's all.
No, nothing. If they bought it at 288, that's all. It's up to 291, $3 there in the money on that place. Obviously, there's just joking around about taking some out, but why not? If you took a big play there. Ford, another name we talked about that didn't hit. I feel stupid about this one because, okay, it's right back. So it actually, I saw it dump down there. I had no idea we're all the way back. So now Ford's starting to get ramped up again. What I meant there by feeling stupid was you could always short. I'm not going to short now as we're getting close to the end of the day. Imbalances are coming out in 30 seconds. If Ford goes, we already have a 20 ready to go. If this comes out a bit, it will probably break that. And then we're out for 10 cents back there. If this fades back into 1990, we will get out if we get in. The imbalance is coming out in 15 seconds. So we'll call it up for you right now. Where's my imbalance locator? That's not it. That's not it. This is it right here. So we'll call up, get ready to rock and roll. These are not live right now. It's going to come in 1 second and 2 seconds and now 1. And here we go. So nice little update there. Apple, whoa, Apple with a big sell there. So that's not going to help out Apple stock as we look out for a 1 minute range here on Apple. Looks like it's starting to come back down. There it is. 154.20 now fading back in. Intel a buy. You don't see that
Cisco's,
too often. Cisco does have earnings today as well. Did I just see Intel below? No, okay, I thought it was below 50. Cisco with earnings out today. That's a buy side there. Any names we've been talking about here? Softy, my favorite. No, nothing to look at. Nothing here. So, okay. So nothing really of significance. I was wondering if there was going to be an SEV or something on there. JP Morgan.
Cisco didn't move. Like that would be, Cisco would be interesting because of the report and you see the imbalance there.
Right.
But look, you're going to get action. If there's anything usually to those, you'll likely see volume spikes, right? I mean, for Cisco to be a 1.4 million buy imbalance, do no extra volume there. You guys can see no extra volume at 350 and actually be trading down. That's like a nothing burger. Like this is the thing about the trade. Like you do still have to, like yesterday, obviously with Rivian, you do not see gigantic imbalances that early on in an IPO. Like you might see them when it gets added to an index or something like that. But it was just, to see that, it was a bit unique, and you saw the price action and the movement. For something like a Cisco, there is some nuance to trading these. And if I don't see it move in the right direction or see a volume spike, I'm not going to be interested. And you're seeing it actually fall here. So, hopefully you don't just sort of jam along because you see a buy imbalance. That doesn't always work out for you.
Yeah, so we'll just continue. I mean, Apple with a big dump there, but as you can see, it's kind of being bought up. So 154 is a great move for Apple. Wow, that stock is just hot fire right now. So just checking back on some of the other names. Let's just do that. I mean, I can keep this up here somewhere here. Maybe we'll just put it down here so you guys can see it every time we come through. Some of these names are useless, but you'll see Apple, Intel. Hopefully this will all make an effect here. Look at Twitter, right? I mean, Twitter's a buy, and this is what we're talking about. It doesn't necessarily mean that this is going to be a buy here. So watch out for that on Twitter. And other than that, man, let's check out on some of the plays that we've had. Roblox, again, nice buy there at 123. It's up to 125. So that's $2 now. We only took the $1. So that was a mistake on that one. SEV back up to 37. Yuck on that. That's going to look bad. Lucid, 52 and change. Looks like it's going to close the day on a muted tone. It basically has done nothing since noon. I mean, here we go. At noon, it was 52 bucks. And now you're at 52 bucks. So Lucid in the last 4 hours touches as high as 53 and as low as 51. So $2 range here for Lucid. What a violent morning that was. A lot of fun on that name. Target, we bought at 252. You're taking out the highs again on Target. We talked about buying that dip as well. Possibly a good sign for Macy's and Kohl's and some of those names coming through there. And then one last check here before we go back over to Brendan. Rivian right now, 147. Good. I mean, you know, not bad price action. I would actually consider it to be a little bit lower than this right now, but some nice shorts at that 160 area for RIVN today. Mr. Wiggins.
Yeah, let's get you updated. Here's what you need to know for coming up aftermarket tonight and before the open tomorrow for earnings, guys.
I guess it's not that big.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, look at that NVIDIA, man. I can't believe I said, let's just buy this dip at 288 and didn't pull the trigger. Now you're at 294 for NVIDIA, so straight upside, $6. I can't see them miss, but I could see them trade down. So we'll wait to see what happens on that one. I guess it all depends on what the expectations are on some sort of a miss. I'm really only interested in NVIDIA up there. Obviously, Alibaba's right there. I don't know if it matters what they say. So
they could take over the world, and it might not matter.
Oh, actually, I lie. I mean, Macy's is on there too. So Macy's, NVIDIA, AMD will obviously be hot tomorrow. I haven't even looked at Global Foundries, but that's another name that could be a mover tomorrow.
Yeah, I wish I got. I mean, that's an IPO that I wish I got into. But at the end of the day, that NVIDIA holds this level pretty nicely. It should be interesting at least to watch some of these moves, because like NVIDIA for like stink bids, if you're looking in the aftermarket, you know, I think there's every bit of a chance that if maybe the data center numbers aren't really climbing like they were before, because they've been eating into Intel's lead there for a while. If they don't get as big of an increase as AMD did, I could see them being under pressure through that 290 level once again, at least in the aftermarket. But with 5 minutes to go, I think JD's probably tradable. Like if I pick one of those, if I have to pick like a JD.com or Alibaba to trade, it's probably going to be JD, because it just feels like it's been a better move. Every time I look back at the days that I've traded Alibaba, JD.com has been a better one to look at. And SEV, of course, it might make moves in the aftermarket. As you guys know, we're flat at the end of the day. But it is looking like if 40 is going to come, it's got to take out this top here at 38, and then maybe we'll see 40 in the aftermarket. But we're not going to put any trades on in the last 5 minutes here. Although it is enticing to look at a 38 break, double top here, and then that 40 could come into play. So the double up on SEV, I guess you got the issue price that's already doubled, but the double up from the open, still very much in play for SEV. Interesting looking card, not that pretty, but a good concept, and they're all the rage.
Yeah, so MasterCard, of course, probably worth maybe buying any kind of dips here, but we already made a monster move up to 369 on that talk there. And then now, obviously, on the switch between the Visa and MasterCard, obviously, they're still down that 2.5%. But as you can see, back and forth, like, I don't know what happened with that story. Like, Visa came out, boom, boom, came all the way back down. Like, okay, that was, I mean, I cannot believe that happened, actually. And it wasn't even on our radar, so that's a definitely missed opportunity for us there as Visa does that dance. MasterCard does the dance. What did Visa do?
Look,
there?
It came all, like, Visa's at 205. What a recovery, right? Like,
that's what I mean. Like, everything just recovered off that move. So, wow, okay. Definitely some more interest for me at this point. What's up, Brendan?
Update on that idea here, guys. Reuters now saying that not only is it MasterCard, but several, in fact, payment networks, including MasterCard, American Express, in talks apparently with Amazon over this change from Visa again in the UK to one, I guess, of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, Amazon's courting because they can do whatever they want, right? Like, at the end of the day, everyone wants them. Like I said, I'm just glad I didn't dig into that Visa trade, because you can get stubborn. This is the thing about flash news. You can think whatever you want about where the stock should continue to go on that news, but if the reaction is to immediately make a hard reversal, sometimes you do not want to just get caught in the trap of it's bad news, it's got to be a short, it stays a short, I don't care about the levels. You know, the price action told you this was coming back a little bit too far. That's why I just got out of it. And thankfully, because Visa did not do what I expected it to do here, and if you were stubborn about it, you could throw a lot away.
Guys, I'd like to see some more likes here. I mean, I really think this is bad. 665. Let's see if we can get to $1,000. We only have 3 minutes left. There's over 3,000, 3,500 people watching right now. If we could just turn, ooh, that was just 666. If we could turn that to $1,000, that'd be awesome, man. We're back here all day, every day for you. Neil, myself, and Brendan, 8:30 to 11. Join us tomorrow. Watch list, sticky note as that goes. And then we throw it off to Miss V, V Money, as I've sort of deemed her there. V Money and Trader Prad coming to you 11 till 2, and then we're back obviously 2 to 4 talking everything with you. So big shout out to what do we call him, the marketing guy today? So thank you to Justin for that one. Thank you to Miss, there they are, Pratt and V. Thank you so much for that as well. So yeah, we're getting close, man. There it is. This is why you guys are the #1 community out there, because ask and you shall receive. 985 right there. We just almost doubled our likes just by asking you guys. So thank you so much. It means a hell of a lot to us. And we'll go chop some trees tonight, and that's for real, because we are going to try to pick up our tree. And I won't be chopping it. You know, it comes obviously pre-cut, but I do
get the old accent.
Yeah, wow, yeah. But I do take the bottom off, so that'll be fun today. And I'll come in with a sore arm tomorrow. But
just don't forget the eggnog, man. You gotta.
That's right.
You do Christmas things. You gotta have a Christmas beverage, right?
We are. We will be doing eggnog. Although we did pick up a nice red last night, so I don't know. I'll find out what the one who makes all the decisions decides there. We'll see. Thanks for everything, man. Thank you, Blair, as well, for that chat or that super chat. Thank you so much. And new member alert. What's up, Anthony? Thank you so much, man. Yeah, fresh cut. You need that fresh cut tree. We'll throw it in the water. We're going all natural tree, man. No fake tree. Our dog doesn't mind it, so that's always a good thing. Check back on an SEV here, taking out the day's high. That's silly. Like, now that I look back at it, whatever. But we stick with our rules. We get out there. Still very, very profitable. My #1 stock, SEV, as Neil. We only have 40 seconds to go.
Yeah, 40 seconds to go. Look, obviously we're going to watch a little NVIDIA. I'm not sure exactly what time they're going to be reporting. And then SEV. So I think it is 4 o'clock. So we'll see if some stink bids come in. 4:20. Of course it's a 4. Pratt just yelling in my ear when it came out. First he said 4 o'clock, then he said 4:20. So yeah, we're probably not going to be around till then. But thank you guys so much. It's been an unbelievable day. You know tomorrow's going to be active because NVIDIA is going to move all the chip makers almost to be sure, and the EV space is going to continue to churn. I believe it's Miss V on the bell. Yes, I am correct as I look behind me. Someone said Lucas should be on the bell. Maybe one of these days, but he's hard at work on the 1s and 2s. It's Miss V. There it is. It's peace sign. There you go. Drop it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, so thank you, Ms. V. So Ford does not wind up cracking that $20. NVIDIA up to 293 on close. Was a pretty flat day, or was it, Brendan?
Let's have a look, guys. We did get back to positive, or I guess we stayed when we started this show. Anyways, we were in positive territory. For the NASDAQ, there you go, 0.07, nothing to talk about. 0.4, 0.2 to the downside for the Dow and the S&P. Pretty red otherwise. Yeah, crude did get back below 3% at least, but still big down day. We were talking a little bit about energy stocks if you joined us in the pre-market, but yeah, big down day for energy, guys.
Had me at the NASDAQ was green. That's what we kind of look for around here. That's exactly what we got. So we'll take it. I mean, obviously the day is not, if you're day trading, you're not predicated on necessarily what the market is doing, but it's always nice to see the market recover a little bit there today. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. I mean, obviously NVIDIA is going to be a bit of a market mover, I think.
Shout out to the whole crew. Everyone's here, even Miss Maggie making an appearance. Shout out to Rob, Lucas, everybody. Thank you so much on those 1s and 2s over there. Thank you for all the support as it keeps on getting bigger and better. Our show and 1.1K likes. I'll take it right now. Join us for the trade of the day happening in a minute. Miss V and Trader Proudly, thrown them a couple times here. I'm not calling for you again, Rob, doing those moves, so don't even worry about it. And thank you so. All right, let's sort of Rob start dancing a little bit again. Let's show it now. There you go. Ladies, he is taken, so you do not have to worry about that. Anybody, male, female, anybody watching, Rob is a taken man. So I know that's very, very, very hard to believe.
That's depressing. People are like, oh, never mind.
But Brendan, I don't think anything's out yet. We're watching NVIDIA. Nothing's really happening. Should be.
SEV almost hit 40 though.
Of course it did. Damn it.
39.80.
Yeah. We were waiting for that one. SEV, my number one stock. It's been a monster day for us. Thank you to everybody. Join us tomorrow. It's the trade of the day already, and it was Rivian, right? So Rivian, very, very important. We're excited. Brendan, give us one name you're most looking forward to tomorrow.
It has to be the chip makers. I mean, it's going to be all about NVIDIA, but the whole group, as you guys are saying, the whole group will be watched.
Should be an exciting one. We'll sleep tight tonight. Everyone have some fun. We'll have some eggnog together. Send me your pictures of some rum and eggnog, and I'll retweet them. So that should be a lot of fun. Everybody, we will see you tomorrow. Trader TV Live, back at it, 8:30. Good luck with all the earnings. We'll catch you tomorrow. See you guys.